leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Gorgeous afternoon out there. A little cooler than yesterday, but we're going to park it in the mid-70s for highs this afternoon. Goldilocks weather with all that sunshine. 45 tonight, so a little on the chilly side under clear skies. And then bright skies tomorrow with a high of 76.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 176 points to 42,338. Market update brought to you by Lewis Black's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, the final tour at DPAC on October 25th. That's tomorrow. Tickets available at dpacnc.com. That's dpacnc.com. This hour of the drive brought to you by Zero Res. Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean with Zero Res starting at just $119 and get a free dryer vent cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
Play fake. Young fires over the middle, and that's intercepted. The Saints pick it off. Miscommunication, and New Orleans brings it to the 40-yard line of Carolina. Not the start you wanted. The Saints get a big... Young backpedals to the 10, pumps, steps up, throws on the run, deep downfield, intercepted. He wanted Thielen, he overshot him, and it's picked off by New Orleans at the 43
The
of
Drive
the Saints.
with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. On a Thursday, I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. We're on the mend. We're on the way back.
You're on the uphill now?
I hope so. By the way, I know my voice still a little scratchy. Shout out to everybody that reached out on social media to wish me well as if I were seriously sick. I don't feel bad. Just want that to be clear.
Okay.
It's just I sound like I should feel bad.
Yeah, you do.
So thank you for all the well wishers, but don't worry about me. I'm good. I may sound like this, but if you want to go run a mile, I got you. I'm not that kind of sick.
Hey, no time to start bragging. All right.
Well, I'm just. You know what I meant. If you wanted me to get my cardiovascular up, I can. Whatever that is for you, I could do it. I just sound like I'm a couple decades into a pack-a-day habit.
Yeah.
On the mend. How about we use that as a little bit of a theme for for today's show?
Okay. On
the mend, on the way back, on the uphill, fighting through a little bit of adversity, playing through some tough. Bryce Young starting again this weekend at Denver. What do you want to see from Bryce? What is success for Bryce? I think that needs to be established ahead of time and be realistic. Don't say, 330 yards, 70% completions, 3 touchdowns. Be realistic. Obviously, that would be success. But
unless you're going to do it.
Significantly less than that would also be success. Be realistic because it's not an easy situation. He didn't know he was starting till midweek when there's an accident. The team that he is taking over has not exactly been a juggernaut even without him. 7 points last week with a trusted veteran leading the show. Oh, and by the way, Denver's really good.
Yeah, their defense is stacked.
Yeah, and you had a whole bunch of stats from Panthers Playbook, which you can check out on our YouTube page. But that defense is going to present some issues for Bryce. So what does success look like for Bryce Young? And what happens if he has a Goldilocks game?
You all right over there? See, you were bragging
struggling.
earlier. Bragging earlier about, you know what? I can go run a mile.
I could run a mile. I just cough while I do it.
Yeah, well.
Let me drink some water.
Yeah, okay. Well, you go ahead and do that real fast.
No, I'm back.
The Goldilocks game.
I think I'm back. We'll see. Goldilocks game. To me, there's 3 paths. 2 of them for Bryce Young. Dave Canales' decision is very, very easy. If Bryce Young seriously struggles, you're done with him, right? Canales writes him off. He's not getting a Christmas card this year. He's out of the group of friends. You get the little notification. Dave Canales removed Bryce Young from the group chat. Like, it's just he's gone. If Bryce thrives, if he has a 130 QBR passer rating, if he goes nuts, if he plays really well, if they're competitive in the game to the end, maybe even win it, the decision is easy for Canales there also. You roll with him. That's your guy now, right? What if he does some good and some bad? Not too hot, not too cold. What if he Goldilocks it? What if he goes right into the middle? What the heck do you do then? Well, you better have an idea, because chances are it's going to be one of them, right? I don't see him lighting it up, but to be honest with you, I don't see him wetting the bed in the way the offense did in the first two games either. Let's hear from Bryce. Bryce has to have had these conversations, right? He was asked if he's had any conversations about starting beyond this week.
No, that's nothing that has been discussed, and again, that's stuff that's him in the front office, and they make that decision. So that's.
Do you view it in that lens at all?
I don't view anything in any sort of lens. Again, the stuff that's out of my control is out of my control. So I just want to help the team win. We all have the same goals, and do everything I can to contribute to that.
He might not be in those conversations. Those conversations are being had. Any conversations about starting beyond this week? Well, let's try to set some parameters. What if he has a turnover-free day? Is that enough? What if he has a turnover-free day and he throws for 190 yards? What if it's a 2-touchdown, 2-turnover day? Like what is it? Because let's not act like Andy Dalton was lighting it up like he did in the Raiders game in every game, right? If the bar is set at gives you a better chance to win than Andy Dalton, the bar isn't the highest in the world.
If you're looking at yards per game, in the 4, I would say, decent games from Andy Dalton, let's say basically take out the Commanders game, he was averaging about 221 yards passing a game.
Okay, but I don't think you can take out the Commanders game.
Okay, then it's 197.
197. If Bryce Young throws for 197, one turnover or less, I think he gets the next game, regardless of the health of Andy Dalton. I think that's realistic, and you have to be realistic with the young player. And here's the other thing. You have to help him get there. You have to help. Don't put him on an island and say, go to work. You can't run a basketball game with one player and you're running backdoor cuts and you're running a motion offense and he's getting screens set for him and then you put in his backup and go, hey, ISO on the corner, and you have to be as efficient as the other guy. It's like the whole team has to come together to work. Right? If Deontay Johnson is out there, Deontay Johnson has to be making plays. If Chuba Hubbard gets the ball, he has to run for a good yards per carry. If they get in the red zone, the running game has to take over. It can't all be on Bryce. He needs to take care of his job. Everybody else needs to take care of theirs as well. Bryce was asked about the preparation since he's been benched and how he's been going about his week. Here's Bryce.
I try to work to be better every single day, and I always want to grow. Again, obviously, it's the weeks of watching film and going through obviously different experiences. Again, it's the same day-to-day growth, same day-to-day grind I've been on for a majority of my life. So, again, I'm grateful for where I'm at, and then just focus on continuing to grow.
Gosh, Bryce, give us something real. Give us something real. You're dangerously close to Russell Wilson territory, where I just write you off as AI for quarterback.
I was thinking the same thing earlier.
If ever there's a point in time in your career where you can be a little open, it's right now. And I'm not saying you got to go up there and cry tears and say, oh, that broke me when they benched me and now I'm so happy. No, go up there and say, yeah, I was upset. Nobody likes to be benched. Now I'm getting this opportunity and I want to go out there and grab it by the gosh darn horns and wrestle this bull to the ground. And if I do or I don't, the game will decide that, but I know I'm going out there with that mentality. Bryce Young was asked if he has something to prove. I know what I want his answer to be. Let's hear what he said.
For me, it's just day by day. Again, I'm not really a huge, big picture, send a message, big thing. Again, I want to do everything I can to be the best I can today during meetings and practice, and then obviously do everything I can to help the team on Sunday. Whatever comes from that, and how things are perceived in the building, throughout the World League. That's always stuff, no matter what it is, stuff I can't control. So again, I just want to do all I can to help the team, and that's really where my focus is.
No. Send a message. I'm not a big, statement, send a message. Well, why the heck not? You got one game, buddy. It's ironically, I feel like I'm talking to Dave Canales here. There are moments when it's okay to get mad. It's sports. This is the part of your life where you can be a barbarian. This is the part you can be primal. When you're dealing with your family and you're going through something, when you're dealing with a friend and you're going through something and your business works, all right, how can we work towards a solution? Let's get our heads, let's pool our brains, everybody. Come on. In sports, I want to physically impose my will in a way that shows everybody that's been making fun of me for the last 6 weeks that they were wrong about me. I'm better than that, and I'm a starting quarterback in the NFL. Where's the ball? Check up. I want Bryce Young going into Dave Canales' office saying, hey, we're on the road. If we win that coin toss, we want the ball. Remember Andy Dalton's first drive?
Yeah.
Right down the field, touchdown, and everyone went, ooh. Bryce Young should go, I want that. That looked like fun. Give me the ball. Let me go down and score, and have everybody go, wait a minute. We just carved up the Denver Broncos defense that everyone was so intimidated by. Now they can't run the ball and protect the clock because we have a lead. Ooh. And you may be saying, well, what if he doesn't? Yeah, then the offense is probably going to be pretty bad. If he goes out there and struggles, offense is probably going to be pretty bad. Guess what it was in his first 2 starts? Pretty bad.
Dreadful.
Guess what it's been in the last couple of games? Pretty bad.
5 quarters.
Can't cross out the bad quarters and just leave the good ones.
Oh, no, but it was 3 good quarters against Atlanta, then 1 terrible quarter, then 4 terrible quarters against the Commanders.
If we want to be nitpicky, what it's been out of the last 5 quarters? Terrible. You have nothing to lose. Go for it, man. That's what I want to see from Bryce. I want to see Bryce change a play call, and I want them to cut to Dave Canales on the sideline and have him look confused. What's he doing out there? Whatever he darn well pleases, because you've already benched him. Go back to Andy. It's obviously what you want to do anyway. Go full Willie Beeman, Bryce Young. Which would make, ironically, Andy Dalton, Cap Rooney, we're talking any given Sunday now, kind of fits. Although I don't see Dave Canales giving the life's a game of inches speech. Life's a game of inches, gentlemen. The rasp kind of works with my Pacino. That's all I'm saying. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break. When we come back, earlier today, we caught up with Manny Diaz, the head coach of the 6-1 bowl-eligible Duke Blue Devils football team, ahead of their matchup with top 25 opponent SMU at home this weekend. You'll hear that conversation coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Dalton this time in a pistol set. Here's the snap. Hand off Chuba Hubbard straight up the middle. Big hole. He's got the 20, 15, 10, 5. Goodbye. Touchdown. Chuba Hubbard.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
What if you could be debt-free by this January? Get rid of all that high-interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low 5s, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their Express Equity line of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com, free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us now on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, Manny Diaz, the head coach of the recently bowl-eligible Duke Blue Devils football team. Coach, thank you very much for taking the time. I'm sure you can tell my voice is kind of jacked up, but I thought we could use this as a goal, right? You want every fan in Wallace Wade this weekend to sound like me at the end of the game, right?
That would be great. They've done an amazing job all year, and normally it's my voice that sounds like that. So I feel your pain. Do
you feel the buzz growing around your team, though? Do you feel the community and the students getting more involved now that you're bowl eligible through 7 games?
I felt it before I took the job. I mean, you could just see it grow the last couple of years, and then since I've been here this off season, and it's just been. Our student body is, they're pretty notorious for creating a great home field advantage, and they've been really with us this year, and that creates a great environment for us.
Manny Diaz, head Duke football coach, joining us here on The Drive. Coach, I don't know if you're a big bulletin board material guy, but some people, and this might be a little bit of a confession here for you, coming from me, may have put bowl eligibility as a good goal for this team in preseason. There was so much new. We didn't know how it would all come together. You did that in 7 games. Do you want to rub that maybe into this hypothetical person's face a little bit?
Not at all. Because we didn't know. And that's why we talk in this program a lot more about standards as opposed to goals, because if our goal would have been bowl eligibility, then what would we think of now? We're there. I mean, do we so we just try to talk about playing to a championship standard, and being on the pathway to that. And the games, whether you win or lose, they just provide you lessons on where you are on that journey. Being awarded with something like bowl eligibility is just a neat step along the way, but it's not really what we got into this for.
The other side of it is now, right, because at the beginning of the year there was that unknown and there was, the questions of how it's going to come together. Now you're 7 games in. You have the best points against average in the ACC. You have some wins. Yet, and I don't know if you've heard this stat, you're the first unranked 6-1 Power 5 team since 2015. So we're almost going on a decade where every single team that is 6-1 in a power conference is in the top 25, and you're not. Is like, when do you think the rest of the college football world will come around, or are you posting this in everyone's locker room? How does that work?
No, same thing. Because if we get concerned about that, then we're looking. That would mean we're looking for external validation for what we're doing, and we're really not. I don't know if anyone remembers who was ranked where on October 24th last year. This is just a step along the way. So if we start getting enamored with things that we ultimately have no control over, then we're in trouble. We didn't. That's not how we got to 6-1 or have the top scoring defense or all the things you mentioned. What we do know is we have not played anything close to our best game, and we're just trying to find a way to get closer to that best version of ourselves every weekend.
Well, then let's talk about maybe something that stands out on the stat sheet as something you need to improve from a season ago or a week ago. I know no one complains about wins, and no one wants to whine about a win, but 70 passing yards for Malik Murphy versus Florida State last week. What caused that hiccup in the passing game?
Well, first you have to give Florida State some credit. They've got some pretty good players on defense, but the biggest thing he was playing without 2 of his best matchups. We lost Nicky Dalmolin, who we think is a great tight end, and we basically only had Jordan Moore for a handful of plays. So you take the top 2 weapons away from any quarterback, they're going to have a tough day at the office. And then the other part is that we got ahead in the game, and so we were going to manage the game and not allow Florida State's defense to get them back in the game through a turnover, which is really that ended up being what won the game, is that their quarterback turned the ball over and ours didn't.
Lead me right into my next question. Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach. We know your storied history on staffs all across the country, working with some of the best defensive units of the last handful of years. Have you ever had a team force 3 turnovers on 3 consecutive plays? I mean, it's like, how did your defense get into a rhythm when they're just going out there, get a turnover, going out there, get a turnover?
I don't know if I've ever even heard of that as a fan, just watching games. So no, that's quite an extraordinary feat for those guys, and really allowed us to take control of the game. And the old adage, when it rains, it pours, and we needed every one of them.
I want to focus in on one player here, because he's been one of my favorite to watch this year, and that's Star Thomas, the running back. You talk about the unknown, and you're all about standard. What did you see in Star Thomas's maybe film tape out of the portal? He's a New Mexico State guy that made him someone you wanted to bring in, and now he's exploded a bit.
Yeah, Star was a great combination. We use an analytics company to help us with our evaluations in the portal, and that company the rating was high on Star, and then our film evaluation. And what really stood out to me on his tape from a year ago was they went to New Mexico State, went to Auburn last year, and I just thought the way he ran the ball on that field with those athletes that they had on defense, looked like a guy that could really help us. And losing Jacquez Moore has been a huge blow to us. I mean, Jacquez as running back we thought was one of our top players. So thank goodness we had Star to come in and not just manage, but excel in Jacquez's absence.
That's fascinating to me. The portal is so unknown, right? I played college football, but it was long enough ago that didn't exist. So you have a company that's looking analytics at, what is it, every player in the country, and it's spitting out a number. What information do you get analytically from the thousands of guys that go in the portal each year?
Yeah, basically, I mean, it tries to assign value to the players, and based off of their level of competition, and because you're trying to find maybe hidden gems that maybe the market misses on, and I think Star Thomas was certainly one of those.
Now, I know what the coach speak answer to this question is. So, just between us, home game versus number 22 in the country. It's the only ranked opponent on your home schedule coming to Wallace Wade this year. I know every game is the same, but this one's a little bigger, right?
Well, here's what we told the team, and this is not coach speak. that's a great thing when you win. Every game you win, the games become bigger. And you want to be a big game because Duke's bus, rolls up to the stadium, and if we show up, then it's a big game, and that's the right that you get to play in. Same as SMU, right? They've continued to win, and when we continue to win and they continue to win, then people attach, hey, this is a big game. Now the trick is the way you win quote unquote big games is the same way you won all the other games before people assign them value as being big. It still comes down to the basics and fundamentals of the things that win you any game. And when we went and beat Northwestern, that was a huge win for us. By winning a game like that is what allows a game like this to become a quote unquote big game.
I'm going to use you to cheat real quick. We're playing a game, or we're doing a activity later in the show where we're awarding kind of mid-season awards for the teams we cover. I'm not going to ask you the MVP or some of these others, but I think most improved, the coach is really the expert on that kind of stuff. So if you had to pick one player, first 7 games of the year, most improved player on the Duke Blue Devils, who are you giving me as an answer so then I can use it and pawn it off as my own later in the show?
Well, I would say Cam Bergeron on defense. Cam's one of our best players on defense, and and really Cam Bergeron and VJ Anthony, were people that didn't have a whole lot of production before this year, and both have turned into the most productive playmakers on our defense. And on offense, I think you could just give it to the offensive line. I think they've done a phenomenal job from where they were and what that position group looked like when we first got here in January to what it's doing right now, and helping Star Thomas run for all those yards. I think those are the 2 answers on our squad.
Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach. Duke, before we let you go, and thank you for the time, as always. I always appreciate you stopping by. Does any part of you, I know the maybe the subconscious or the uber competitive part of you, peek ahead on the schedule and look at that Miami game, knowing your history as the former head coach of that program and knowing what that game might be? No,
we've got all of our attention on SMU, and that's, to me, the most important thing. And if I was spending my time thinking about anything else, then I'm doing our team a disservice. I'm at peace. It's been a long time since I've been at Miami. I'm at peace with my time there, and I'm excited with what we're accomplishing here too.
Coach, we're impressed, and we're excited for the rest of your season. Good luck this weekend, and thanks again.
You got it. Thanks for having me on.
Once again, that is Manny Diaz, the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, ahead of their top 25. I think should be a top 25 matchup between 2 top 25 teams, as you heard the stat in that conversation. But it's just one top 25 team, and it's the visiting team, SMU, going to the Duke Blue Devils and Wallace Wade. You can catch that conversation if you missed any of it. It'll be up on our YouTubes and all of that. In the meantime, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. Who will be crowned king of the court? That's happening every day that NBA games are played on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All you have to do is opt in. I've done this, by the way. Opt in, get a daily NBA profit boost token. Then you pick a pregame NBA player prop, which is the prop you pick is a player to lead the league that night in points plus rebounds plus assists. The profit token, you select that. It'll boost the odds. And you can win a share of $1 million in bonus bets. That's it. That's the entire rundown. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and when you do it, if you're a new customer, at sign up, use code TIMD. That's code TIMD on DraftKings, and you'll be hooked up even more. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. One NBA prop bet. Profit boost per customer. Tokens expire at the start of the final NBA game each day when offered. Use token on PRA Stat Leader to receive equal share of $1 million in non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 168 hours. Additional wagering restrictions apply. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. When we come back, we have quite a bit to get to, including the Canes played a night on the road at Calgary. We're giving out mid-season awards for the Triangle football teams and more. Stick around.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 8:30.
Here come the Hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Natchez. 3-0 Carolina.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great, it's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Everything for the exterior of your home, but it's also everything for the peace of mind of the customer. Talk to me about the trust factor and everything else that you guys offer.
I got to tell you, I think one of the biggest things for us is we don't take any payment from you for any of your home improvement needs until we're done with the project. I hear stories all the time about people putting down deposits with companies, 25, 50% of the project total overall, and they don't even know, they don't show up.
Right.
You've lost whatever percentage you put down, that's how much power you lost already. Right?
Right.
So with us, you pay nothing until we're done. Typically we're not the least expensive, and we're certainly not the most expensive. You get 3 or 4 estimates, we're going to fall right there in the middle. But, you're going to have a warranty that's lifetime, transferable for 10 years on any of the products we sell typically. And we've been around since 1961. You can trust us. We've been around forever.
It is about trust, and I think you guys are the most trustworthy business that I know. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Train heating and cooling systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Now a good pass there by Kokiniemi. It'll come across Robinson. They'll score! Deflected out in front, Marty Natchez!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are about 1 hour away from needing first goal scorer predictions. At 4:33, we will open up the phone lines, take 3 contestants who will predict who's going to score the first goal for the Canes and in what period they will do it. That's tonight at Calgary. And if you get it right, there's a sweet Apex Racing Lab gift card in it for you. But you have to be one of those 3 contestants. We take your call. You'll make your pick on the air. Everybody else, feel free to jump in right now if you want to. You can go our YouTube page into the comments, and you can You can pick a player to score the first goal and in what period it will happen. I can tell you this on, when was our last game? Tuesday?
Yep.
Nobody had Gostisbehere in the third.
We had Gostisbehere in the first.
We had Gostisbehere in the first. That'd have been a heck of a call if someone said Gostisbehere in the third.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, they were going to come back to win that game. The predictions could have got good odds.
Brandon on our YouTube live chat already said, I want to lock in Gostisbehere, second period, top right corner. He's picking corners.
I do very much appreciate specificity in these.
Yes, as do I.
Gostisbehere's on a heater. I mean, bet the streak, right? You can only be wrong once if you bet the streak. What is it, 4 straight games with a goal? Yeah, if you just keep betting Gostisbehere to be an anytime goal scorer, you can only be wrong once. There's an unlimited amount of times you can be right. Right? Just keep betting the streak. Might be over tonight. Might keep going for 10 more days. You never know.
Never know.
Canes at Calgary tonight. First of all, let's just start here. On Tuesday, before the game, right? We were doing the same thing. We're doing the first goal scorers. We're talking about the game. We're previewing it. I asked for a superstar, swagged out, electric, I want the puck, I want to make the play performance from Sebastian Aho. Right, because there was this guy Connor McDavid on the other side of the ice, and I said when the best on your team are matched up against another team with an elite top of the line superstar, you should thrive. You should thirst for the opportunity to leave your imprint on that game and be the one that rises above. Then all he did was go out and score a game winner in overtime. Speaking of going bar down, speaking of going up top, Sebastian Aho, 7 seconds left in overtime. I think he just doesn't like shootouts. He's just like, hey, you know what? Give me the puck. I don't want to go to this next stage. But it happened, right? That's my point. Right? I asked for something from Sebastian Aho and got it 100%. So what should I ask for tonight? Let's pretend, I know it's pretend, I'm not superstitious, but let's pretend that there's that moment in the movie where you recognize something mystical is happening here. I don't know why this is the movie that pops into my head. Have you seen the movie with Adam Sandler where he's telling it might be called Bedtime Stories, where he's telling the bedtime stories to, I think, his niece and nephew or something?
Can't say I recall.
All right, It's not a good movie. I wouldn't recommend it, but I have seen it. The whole conceit is he tells a bedtime story that he makes up to his niece and nephew at night, and then the next day it comes true. Whatever he says in the story comes true. And there's that moment where he learns, right? Where he said, the night before, and then in the morning it started raining gumballs. Then he wakes up and he looks outside and it's raining gumballs, and he's like, oh. Let's pretend we have that moment, right? Where I go, Sebastian Aho, I need a swagged out performance. Swags out a game winner in overtime.
Okay.
Oh, maybe what I'm saying here is controlling it. What should I ask for? I'm looking specifically at one person, and if I'm going to ask for something big, I'm going to ask for something big.
All right.
I want a Pyotr Kochetkov shutout.
Oh, a shutout?
I want a shutout.
Okay.
I want a shutout. Now, obviously, that translates to I want a really good goalie performance from Pyotr Kochetkov. I want him to get his signatures in. I want him to poke check somebody on a fast break. I want him to get out of position, scramble back into position, and get into a weird yoga pose just to get a skate on it in the top corner. I want Pyotr to have a Pyotr Kochetkov game. I'm looking at the goalie for a few reasons. One, Calgary's playing really good hockey right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're playing close hockey.
5-0-1.
With a shootout win, I believe, an overtime loss, a couple of other, maybe 3 overtime wins. They're playing very, very close games, right? They're winning them.
They can score.
But they're playing close games. And actually, they're also getting it done with defense, right? They're giving up 2.5 goals per game, which is 5th best in the league. Small sample size, early part of the season. Don't take it as a truth, but at least they're in a bit of rhythm on the defensive side of the ice. They're also, I think, 7th in goal scoring. So
yeah, they've only been below 3 goals once in 6 games.
So the margin of error isn't there. You can't give up a softie right now the way they're playing. Pyotr can't. It's not a situation where if you give up a goal, you then go, it's all right, we'll get it back, because they're being stingy on the other end too. So I'm looking at Kochetkov right now and saying, you haven't been on your A game to start the season. It's time to step up. I want a high-level performance from the young goalie. Which, by the way, speaking of, we did this a little bit with Bryce earlier. I want to see my professional athletes be weirdly competitive. And I mean everything. Right? It's all the way down to, do you remember at ACC tip-off, we were talking with Kevin Keats, the head coach of NC State, and ping pong came up, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm the best. Nobody has beaten me." And all of a sudden you understand, like, oh, got it. That's why you're you. That's why you're there. I respect the heck out of those weird, overly competitive people. Just recently, I actually saw this on social media. Do you know who Gary Vee is?
Yeah.
What does he do? Like, why is he rich and famous?
All kinds of different motivational stuff.
Yeah, I know he's a motivational
bunch of different
guy.
things.
So he's in my algorithm a bunch recently. Just little 30-second clips of him spewing whatever he spews. I don't know what he does. Someone can fill me in if you want to on social media. But what he said was, like, if you have a kid that is gifted with the burden of being wildly competitive, if they live and die with their Little League games, his argument was it's a detriment to grab them after the game and go, hey, it's only a game. Because that one's got the thing that's going to make them great at something. They're going to be really unsufferable after a loss in 9-year-old basketball, and you're just going to have to put up with that because that's going to drive them somewhere. And I don't know if I agree with that 100%, but I do get it when you see some of these professional athletes and go, oh, nobody told them it was just a game, right? Nobody got away telling Michael Jordan it's just basketball. Don't worry about it. Because then maybe he doesn't, go home and shoot 900 jumpers from the exact spot he missed the game winner or whatever it is. I want Pyotr Kochetkov to be that way. And what I mean by that is, right now, Freddie Anderson has allowed 4 goals in 3 starts. Pyotr Kochetkov has allowed 5 goals in 2 starts. If you're as competitive as I want you to be, you don't need the context. You don't need, but the teams that I played were better offensively, or, I actually, Roslovic turned it over in the middle of no, you don't need that. You're competitive. You want to win, regardless of what happens. Be competitive. Freddie and Kochetkov, both are going to play in the regular season. We don't know if that's the case in the postseason. Last year, Kochetkov, you're playing pretty darn good down the stretch. You got, 2 starts in the postseason? 1. 1 start in the postseason? I'm being generous. That should fire you up to be better than Freddie this year, so if and when you make the postseason, you're not getting shut out that way.
Kochetkov has that in him.
I want to see it tonight. Just like we knew Aho had it in him Tuesday, but I wanted to see it on Tuesday.
I mean, we saw Kochetkov try to fight Brad Marchand as a rookie in the playoffs.
He wants to fight everybody.
Yeah.
Did you see Orlov save him in this last game?
Oh, yeah.
Not the last game. It was a St. Louis game. Yep. He hopped over the onto the rink and was ready to roll, and literally Orlov, 2 hands on his back, yanked him back. No. You weren't on the ice, buddy. This is a 10-game suspension if you head over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Get back over here. But yeah, no, I know he has the fire. I just want to see it tonight. And I think it's an opportunity to do it. I also think on a long road trip like this, they're game 4 out of 6. Mm-hmm. You're gone for 13 days because of the state fair going on. You're out of town. There's gonna be a game where, and it's probably 4. Like if you're on a 6-game road trip, 4 is probably the betting favorite to be this game. There's gonna be a game where your skaters show up a little dog days. Right, legs are a little heavy.
A little sluggish.
Played 3 games since you've been in your own bed. You got 3 more games before you get back to your own bed. You're playing a team that's playing well. You're in Canada. I think it's a game where your goalie might have to be the ignition switch. And oh, by the way, you haven't played 3 games. You don't have 3 more before you get home if you're the goalie, because there's a rotation going on. I'm looking at Pyotr Kochetkov. That's where my eyes will be tonight. As if they're ever not on the goalie, but they're even more so today. I want something bigger. I want something better. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are also essentially halfway through the college football season, which I'm including bowl games. Right?
Yeah.
So you go
conference championship.
You go 7 games. Yeah, there's who knows, the playoff. You play.
Well, yeah, there's that
15,
too.
16 games now. 7 games through. I'm calling it halfway. Thought we'd give some halfway awards to the 3 teams in the triangle, UNC, NC State, and Duke. As always, so people don't say, you always pick them first. Dennis, who should we go with first? Be random.
Well, they're not playing this Saturday, so I'm going to go NC State.
NC State. We're giving 3 awards to each team. One of them, probably not an award you want to win. It's MVP. It's most improved. It's Justin Joe. I just read one.
There you
it's
go.
MVP. It's most improved. It's most disappointing. MVP, I'm going CJ Bailey. It's CJ Bailey. He's ignited the offense. He's played better and better the last 4 games. By the way, State fans, we did a deep dive into CJ Bailey's ability on the most recent Pack Therapy podcast, which I host with former State quarterback Mike Glennon. It's out now. The episode is out. It's posted. And if you want a real deep dive into what CJ Bailey's doing well, tune into that. But he's my MVP for State since he's been in there. No disrespect to Grayson McCall. We will pass along our support to him later in the show for the situation he's going through with his injuries. But CJ Bailey's got something special. Dennis, are we in agreement there?
Yep.
All right.
Nailed it.
Most improved, I'm going Justin Jolie.
Okay.
Now, we have receipts, so I'd never feel bad saying this kind of stuff. I was very high on Justin Jolie coming into the season.
You were.
There was a slow start. Since he's caught his rhythm, he's been unreal. So I don't know if that's improvement or if the opportunity finally met the player that was ready for the opportunity. But, a little quiet early on. Now you can't keep him quiet. He's making 3rd down catches. He's making clutch catches. He's making big catches, contested catches. He is a tight end that I think the NFL is going to be really, really excited for. Really excited for. Did you have a most improved other than that?
A name that popped into my head was Kendrick Raphael. He's actually leading the team in rushing, and he actually, his yards per carry, I think it's 5.3 yards this year. Last year as a true freshman was around 4.6. So he's almost eclipsed what he did in terms of rushing last year, but I feel like he's added a little bit more to the offense. I know this past game against Cal definitely was not his best game, but I like what he's added to the offense as the season has progressed. I mean, the first 2 games of the year, he had a combined 7 carries. And he's had like 9, 10 plus, around that total of carries over the last, 5 games or so for them. So to me, I think it's Raphael, and he's actually probably been one of the more consistent runners this season.
I considered Raphael. Mm-hmm. He has maybe 1 too many poorly placed fumbles.
Yeah, the one against Syracuse was a bad one.
And other than that, though, I think he and Hollywood Smothers in different roles, I think should be the leaders of that backfield.
I almost did the 2 of them as a tandem together for that, but I decided to stick with Raphael.
That leads me right to my most disappointing. It's Jordan Waters. It's the
that's fair.
Very highly thought of running back, had 100-plus yards in the first game, most of them in the fourth quarter against Western Carolina. The running game as a whole, he's just kind of taken the brunt of it. I'm disappointed. Where do we go next, UNC or Duke?
My disappointing run defense for NC State.
Just as a unit?
Yeah, just the run defense as a whole for NC State, just because NC State's defense always felt like it's been part of the identity or been the main source of the identity of Dave Doran's tenure at NC State. You knew that your defense was going to keep you in it, and right now their especially their rush defense, they look like the Carolina Panthers at times, which is not a compliment.
What year of the Panthers?
This year.
No. There's a big difference there. You say
Oh, no, trust me, I get it.
You say 2001, you say there's a couple different options there.
2 years ago?
Shoot. UNC or Duke, who are we going next?
Carolina has an earlier game Saturday. Let's go Carolina.
All right. MVP for me, this should be the easiest conversation of the day. It's Omarion Hampton.
Yep, check.
4th in the country in rushing yards. Tied for 32nd in rushing touchdowns. I think that just goes to show how much better he is than that offense. Because scoring touchdowns is an offensive stat. You need to be in position to. Rushing yards is like wherever you give me the ball. If we're backed up, if we're like I'm doing something with it. Mm-hmm. So Omarion Hampton, he's the MVP. Most improved, I did some deep diving here.
Okay.
Caleb Cost.
Oh, the defensive back.
You want to hear a stat right now?
He's got a bunch of pick sixes.
Caleb Cost interceptions this season, 2.
Yeah.
Everyone else on the team's interceptions this season.
2?
0.
Oh, there you go. I know he has at least 1 pick six.
Pick 6, 64-yard or 84-yarder a couple weeks ago against Pitt. He was a special teamer last season.
Yeah.
He made 1 start in the defensive secondary, and it was in the bowl game, which is obviously after roster shuffling. He was also on the baseball team last year.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot going on, and he's playing some pretty good defensive back out there. So I'm going Caleb Cost.
Jacoby Criswell for me. I feel like he has gotten steadier since he's taken over as starting quarterback. Again, kind of thrust into that. And even Mac Brown admitted himself that Jacoby Criswell didn't get a lot of reps during the summer. He wasn't with the team in the spring. Didn't get a lot of reps in the summer or the early part of training camp. He's stepped up when he's asked to do. And honestly, I feel like each week he's gotten better. And things have, I guess, for lack of a better term, have calmed down for the offense. It wasn't so erratic. I was at the game when they played Charlotte, and it just felt like there were trick plays and all kinds of different crazy stuff for them to manufacture and generate offense. I mean, it worked against Charlotte, but I was like, man, this is just kind of chaotic. And I think with Criswell, things have kind of slowed down a little bit, especially since that JMU game.
Most disappointing. This is mostly injury, but Kamen Rucker.
Yeah, just injuries have been
He's played in 2 games, the first game of the year and last week against Georgia Tech. Other than that, he's been hurt. He has 1 sack on the season, and it came in the first game.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my own fault for building up expectations. I had such high, lofty dreams of what he was going to do for that pass rush, and it hasn't happened because of the injury. So the disappointment might be mine, but it's disappointing nonetheless.
Just seeing anyone not being able to play is disappointing.
And I seriously thought he would vault himself up NFL draft boards.
Yeah.
He had some advanced analytics, and the injury is just going to prevent that from happening.
To me, their pass defense, they just give up too many chunk plays. Their pass defense is just constantly giving up 20-plus yard passes, it feels like. So to me, it's their pass defense. Most disappointing.
Let's get to Duke.
Yeah.
Duke MVP, I think it has to be a defensive player.
Okay.
They're the best defensive team in the ACC points-wise. Their offense struggles at times. So I'm going with Alex Howard, linebacker. Leads the team with 52 tackles. Leads the team with 5 sacks.
Look at that.
So he's doing a little bit of everything there from the linebacker spot, and that's enough for me. You're the linebacker. You're the most productive, and you're on that defense. Wear the MVP crown.
Hard to argue against that. I'm going to go Star Thomas as the MVP because once he has stepped in, the whole team has elevated their level of play, I feel like.
Most improved. Now, I cheated with this one.
Okay.
I asked Manny Diaz earlier today. You heard it on the air. He went defensively Cameron Bergeron, the linebacker, which is a solid answer, but he also then gave me Star Thomas on the offensive side, and that one's more fun to talk about.
Makes sense.
I was excited about Jaquez Moore at running back. I thought he was going to be the most used guy. Maybe a Star Thomas or a Peyton Jones off the bench is a change of pace, but the big plays were going to come from Jaquez Moore. Injuries kind of made that a non-thing. Star Thomas broke out in the fourth quarter of their second game, and he's been lighting it up ever since. So Star Thomas most improved because when the opportunity came a knocking, he was ready for it. Who you got?
I'm going to go with their offensive line as a whole. Their offensive line as a whole, because here's the thing, is their rushing attack to start the year was not very good. And when Star Thomas came in, especially that game against Northwestern, things really picked up. But their offensive line has only allowed 8 sacks this entire season. 8.
Credit Malik as well. Malik
Murphy
for getting rid of the ball.
But only 8 sacks allowed in 6 games. Like, to me, that is
against some good edge rushing teams as well.
True. And then especially early on in the year when they couldn't run the ball, teams were just teeing up. It's like, oh, okay, well, the only thing they can do is just, Malik Murphy to Jordan Moore. That's the only thing that they really could do offensively, and the offensive line still held up, and that's with 2 guys that got drafted to the NFL. So, yeah, offensive line improvement for me.
Most disappointing, I'm going Javon Harvey.
Okay.
This is a wide receiver that I covered at ODU at earlier stops in my career. I thought he would be taking the tops off of defenses for them. He was the kind of guy at ODU that would have 3 catches for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, he was a deep ball threat at ODU. So far this season, he has 7 catches for 56 yards, at least 1 drop, maybe a couple more. I just thought his role in that offense would be more of a downfield threat, more dependable as a wide receiver. Hasn't happened yet. Still time, right? The thing with a big play threat is it only takes like 4 catches and your season is completely turned around. So maybe it's still to come, but as of right now, most disappointing.
Most disappointing for me is actually how their passing game has declined. To me, there's been a steady decline since really the UConn game in terms of passing efficiency, yards per game, touchdowns, all that has slightly and slowly declined over the last 4 games for Duke. For example, against Florida State, 12 of 24 for 70 yards passing. I mean, I know you won, but could have used maybe, I don't know, a little bit more than 70 yards passing on 12 of 24.
Yeah.
So to me, their passing game has slightly declined, but I think that also might be a byproduct of their rushing game has actually gotten better during that time. They haven't needed to throw as much, but I would have thought that they would have been more consistent in the passing game at this point of the year.
And Manny Diaz did point out earlier today that that 70-yard total was partially impacted by 2 of his best pass catchers not really being available.
That's it, because I think Jordan Moore got hurt early in that game.
Yeah, he said Jordan Moore was only out there for a couple plays, had 1 catch for 10 yards, I think it was. And there's another injury that is escaping me now. So maybe they just said, hey, with our guys hurt, we're going to go straight to the run game, and we're not going to look back. There you go. That's our halfway awards for the college football teams here in the Triangle, the ACC teams here in the Triangle. Right now, Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. I talk about this a lot. When Window Nation came in and gave me the free no-obligation consultation, the same one that they could do for you. All you got to do is call and schedule. I'm difficult to please in these situations. I know just enough about home improvement to be dangerous. I was the guy that was like in charge of running to the garage to get tools for my dad as he fixed up our house growing up. So I know just enough to be dangerous, which means when I talk to somebody about that, I'm like the Simon Cowell, right? I'm there looking for ways I can tear you apart. Justin came into our house, Window Nation, knew way more than I did, and it was obvious, explained it in a way that I could understand, but basically was a window expert. And that's what I'm looking for. If I want someone working on my windows, I want a window expert. If I want someone working on my roof, I want a roof expert. Window Nations, they do windows, and they're really gosh darn good at it. 96% customer satisfaction rating, over 33,000 5-star reviews on Google, and their windows come with a lifetime warranty. That's how they back it all up. Get a free, no-obligation quote now, including the presentation I was talking about, by giving them a call to schedule. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com. You can schedule there as well. windownation.com is the website. We have football at 4 coming up next, and I have a call to action for Dan Morgan, the GM of the Panthers. I'll tell you why we're rallying the troops in the front office coming up next. Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Now that the Fed has finally begun their path of rate cuts, trying to decide when to finance becomes very challenging. Do I lock now? Do I wait? At Miller Lending, we offer a solution to the question of timing with our popular no closing cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates free of charge and refinance any time rates fall. Having done our first no-cost loan all the way back in 1987, we've now funded over $10 billion in no-cost mortgages, saving our customers thousands of dollars in needless fees. Lately, we've seen a trend of even higher closing costs as borrowers chase rates only to see them drop considerably 4 months later. So whether you're purchasing a new home or simply refinancing the home you're in, why not call Miller Lending and say goodbye to closing costs forever? 919-447-3377 or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's. Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done?
Call Newcomb & Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Martinsville Speedway. November 1st through the 3rd. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Looking good this afternoon. Feeling great. Temperatures in the mid-70s. A little bit cooler than yesterday, but boy, mid-70s is hard to beat with all that sunshine. Mid-40s tonight, so a little cooler, and then a repeat of today. Tomorrow we'll see sunny skies with highs in the mid-70s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 140 points to 42,374. Market update brought to you by Lewis Black's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, the final tour at DPAC on October 25th. That's tomorrow. Tickets available at dpacnc.com, dpacnc.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Panthers are not having a good season. Just call a spade a spade. If it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it might be a duck. If you're not winning games, if your offense is struggling, if your defense is struggling, you might be having a bad season. But now I'm going to take it one step further. What are you doing about it? What are you doing to make sure it doesn't happen again next year? We know their season stinks. We know it must be hard. We know they're facing adversity. Let's jump to the second Dave Canales clip. Dave Canales, the head coach, was asked how he's handling adversity as a head coach.
I mean, I've been through hard things in my personal life. I've been through hard things in my coaching career. Now as a head coach, I feel it heavier, but it's the same. It requires a discipline, and it requires a gratitude and appreciation for what we get to do. And I think that might be a little bit of a shock to people, as we trying to find our way to play really good football, and that it's not happening in all of our areas to come back every Wednesday and go, here we go. We're going to get another opportunity. We got 10 more of these. They're going to keep coming. And this is the greatest day we have to go attack it with energy and with the mentality to just continue to improve our football. And so it's a great opportunity for all of us to just have that discipline, that mental discipline and emotional discipline to go right back to work, because it's a great situation for us to come and to do what we love to do.
A great situation, maybe a little over the top. It's a situation to come do what you want to do. I don't know, it's a great situation. Here's the thing. Their season's tough. They're facing adversity. In that locker room, with that coaching staff and those players, they're doing everything they can to turn it around. That's all you can do. But what is the front office doing? I got some numbers for you. There are 11 teams with 1 or 2 wins this season. That actually should be encouraging to the Panthers, right? You get lost in your bubble of just thinking how bad your team is. You don't realize there are 10 teams that are within one game as bad as you. 1 or 2 wins, 11 teams. Now, if you take out Miami and the Jets, because nobody tell them they're one of those 11 because they still think they're good. If you take out Miami and the Jets, there are 9 teams left. 3 of them have used their veteran wide receivers to get better for next year. Cleveland traded Amari Cooper. Tennessee traded DeAndre Hopkins. Vegas traded Devontae Adams. They are better now for next season and have a jump start on next year over the Panthers. What have the Panthers done to get better for next year? The biggest move they made was switch from a second-year quarterback to a 36, 37-year-old quarterback. That's not helping next year. I talk about this with the Panthers all the time, where they cannot waste. They cannot miss opportunities to get better no matter the increment. If they can get 0.01% better today, they can't afford to not, because they have to catch up to everybody else. You go look at all the power rankings, they're dead last. They have to catch up. They need their roster to get better. They drafted bad for about 5 years, and they have to make up all of that ground. The Chiefs, the Bills, they were top contenders. They needed a wide receiver. Those spots are filled. Panthers could have pounced on that. Now, if it just so happens that Dan Morgan was in those negotiations and he was trying to sell him Deontay Johnson and they chose Amari Cooper and they chose DeAndre Hopkins over that, fine, right? If that's the case, take everything I'm saying and go, tough break, kid. But I have a hard time believing you would want the 33-year-old DeAndre Hopkins over a 26, 27-year-old Deontay Johnson for roughly the same amount of money. And I better hear that the Panthers are willing to take on salary cap this season to get a better pick next year. Because what are you saving for this year? Saving that money for someone special? Of the 9 teams who are bad and think they're bad, they're starting to get better for the future. They're starting to think about that, and the Panthers need to or they'll get left behind. Miles Sanders isn't enough. Miles Sanders is the only one that anyone is willing to mention like might be in a trade conversation. Now, sure, if you can get something for Miles Sanders, of course you do it. But that's not going to get it done. You're gonna have to move on from someone you think is good because of situation. This isn't high school football or fantasy football where it's like, no, I don't cut good players. It's NFL football where you have to look at the full chessboard. See the impact of it. See what's going to happen 2-3 steps down the line. Deontay Johnson is going to say he wants to be here because he's not a dummy, right? Why would he take away a team that could bid for his services this offseason? He's going to say he loves everything about Carolina. My guess is he's gone. My guess is he wants to play with a more established quarterback. My guess is he may even want money that the Panthers can't offer. $30 million a year, $28 million a year, something along those lines. Will he get it? I don't think he's worth it. But that hasn't stopped anyone from asking in the past. When you see these moves being made, and for 72 hours there, felt like there was a big wide receiver trade every day. You just woke up and there's a new one. Now there's reports that Cooper Kupp tonight on Thursday Night Football for the Rams is basically out there on like a audition. Like it's an auction, and they're going to rev the engine as they drive him up to the stage, let him go show that he's healthy, make 10 catches, and then have him traded by Sunday. Which would be another example of how waiting would have cost the Panthers something. Because you trade Deontay Johnson last week, Cooper Kupp isn't even in the mix because he's not healthy. No one's going to trade for a hurt wide receiver. You trade Deontay Johnson next week, or you try to trade Adam Thielen next week or Deontay Johnson next week, they might go, no, we're going to try to go for Cooper Kupp. Timing is everything. Dave Canales and the players, yeah. It's all about Denver. Go focus on Denver. What are you going to do to stop Bo Nix? What are you going to do to, get Jatavian Sanders open in the end zone? That's what you worry about. Front office, it's the 2024-2025 NFL season already for you. You're a one-win team. How do you not make that your fate next year is what the front office is thinking about. If I walk into Dan Morgan's office and I see a whiteboard with magnets in the form of a depth chart, names on it, right, in positions, and it has this year's depth chart, I'm confused. I'm going, well, yeah, we know that. Can't really change that. Put next year's depth chart up there and put everyone on an expiring deal at the bottom, and they don't get a spot in the depth chart until you lock them in for next year. And have a few of those little name tags that are blank, but you can write on them with a dry erase marker. And write in there Justin Fields and be ready to erase it. And write in there Shedeur Sanders and be ready to erase it. And look at what you can do, because for the front office, as the Browns, the Titans, and the Raiders are already proven, front offices have to be into next year. As Tennessee trots out Mason Rudolph, you don't think he would like to have DeAndre Hopkins out there? Darn right Mason Rudolph would love to have DeAndre Hopkins out there. Instead, guess where those jump balls are going? Tyler Boyd. Like, it's a different beast for him. But they're not worried about Mason Rudolph this year. They're worried about not being one of the worst teams in the league next year. Because at some point, you got to turn the page. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial. And, of course, that means Coach Pete. Thinking of the future. What a better time to talk about Capital Financial Advisory Group. Yeah. What are you making this year? That's what we all think of. What's our income? How much of a raise did I get? How much more can I make? Well, what about this? How much money do you want to make in retirement, whenever that is? 20 years in the future, 10 years in the future. I don't know how old you are. I don't know when you want to retire. How much do you want to make then? Plan for the future. Turn the page. Look towards retirement. Coach Pete can help you get set up. He's been revolutionizing the retirement planning game for decades with the use of his GPI index. That is a completely custom indicator, I guess you could say, that will help you maximize consistent growth, protect your money from year to year, and build an income switch. That's where the GPI comes in, for you to flip on when you need to and want to. An income switch. How awesome is that? Plan for the future. So some way down the line, flip the switch, there your income starts. With the help of Coach Pete's Financial Fill-Up, you will receive guaranteed income for life. And even in the face of challenges like long-term care or losing a spouse, you still receive that check. Call or text today and get your very own GPI index score and see how this valuable tool can work for you now and along your journey through retirement. Call right now and Coach Pete will do this all at no cost if you tell him I sent you. So say Tim sent me when you call this number, 800-691-3215. Again, Tim sent me when you call 800-691-3215, or you can text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That works the exact same. Just text Tim to 600-700. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have our ladder challenge. We have cons and cons. And at 4:33, we need 3 contestants in our Canes first goal score challenge. So start thinking about who you think scores the first goal for the Canes tonight at Calgary and in what period they do it. That's coming up next. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
The one thing that nobody thought the Duke Blue Devils would do this year came true, and that's become bowl eligible. They're the first team in North Carolina to become bowl eligible.
And they did it against Florida State. Who would have had that in their preseason bingo card?
And the Blue Devils did it against Florida State. The first win ever.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's truck season at John Hiester Chevrolet, and we're sweetening the Silverado deal for you. Right now, you can get that 24 Silverado 1500 LTZ you've been wanting for up to $15,000 off when you trade in a 2010 or newer car or light-duty vehicle, including 3/4 and 1-ton pickups and vans. Up to $15,000 off a brand new 24 Silverado 1500 LTZ. See dealer for details. Get off your keister and get to John Hiester Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. Together, let's drive.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Doesn't it sound like I've been at a Disturbed concert for like the last 4 consecutive nights, and that's why my voice is like this?
Maybe you have been.
I don't know, but someone out there could be at a Disturbed concert April 14th. You just have to text keyword Disturbed, DISTURBED, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Disturbed with Daughtry at the Lenovo Center on April 14th. Again, the keyword to text in is Disturbed. The number to text it in to is 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets. Let's go ladder challenge, shall we? I'm on day 2, had to start over after a dumb loss. But I roll over my winnings from yesterday. Tyrese Maxey was an easy hit on over 30 points plus rebounds plus assists for the Sixers against Milwaukee. Dennis, did you hit last night?
No, I did not, actually.
You're starting over.
I am starting over. Owen Tippett, I just needed 2 shots on goal, and he scored a goal. I was like, all right, he scored once. Can you just put one more puck on net?
He was full. He got his fill with the goal.
No.
So we both lost on shots on goal props. We might want to stay away from it.
Yeah, I know. Might have to.
Well, in that case, you are restarting, so you're putting your $10 back in. What are you going with?
I'm a little torn on this one. There's a lot of different options out there, obviously. And me, I like going into the NHL. That is a big thing in mind. I'm actually going to go to an alternate puck line between the Detroit Red Wings and the New Jersey Devils. Give me the New Jersey Devils plus 2.5 goals at the Detroit Red Wings, minus 935.
I'm going back to I hate doing this because I feel like I get entranced by what I call honey holes. Mm-hmm. If I win a type of bet, I start to think I got the field figured out when it's actually just I had good feelings about like one bet. But I am going back to the NBA today.
Okay.
I absolutely hated all of the props, all of the bets involving Thursday Night Football. There was never one that I even looked at and said, I am confident in that. Because there's so much unknown with some of the injuries. The defense for Minnesota is so good. I don't trust Sam Darnold. Like, there's just so much that I'm up and down in. So instead I'm going NBA. I'm going to the Celtics-Wizards game
Okay.
If you remember yesterday on the show, we talked about the Hornets. By the way, Hornets won. But the Hornets were plus 5,000 to win that division, which is a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
The Wizards were plus 40,000 to win the division.
Yep.
Which is a significantly longer shot.
Yes.
So the Wizards are no good.
No, they stink.
Jason Tatum and the Celtics, very good.
Yep.
Defending NBA champions, dirtied the Knicks on opening night. Jason Tatum had an efficient 37. I have him 20 or more points.
Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum, 20 or more versus the Wizards. Tatum's on a warpath. He's upset that he was benched in a bunch of Olympic games. He wants everybody to know how awesome he is, and the Celtics want everyone to know how awesome they are. There's no way the Wizards are going to be the team to put a pebble in their shoe because the Wizards just aren't good enough. So I have that in. I have $11 to bet after my win yesterday. This shall win me $12.10 in total. We'll roll it over. I'm actually not going to be here tomorrow, so I'll have to just let you know my bet, I guess.
Yeah.
But I will
Let
roll
Graham
it over.
know.
Yeah, I'll roll it over. Maybe I'll just let Graham do it. Maybe I'll entrust him with my $12.10 when I win, and he can let me know what we're betting on. But still, ladder challenge is still going. It is 6 days to the end of the month.
Yeah.
So we are getting close to when we're going to name a winner here, and we have not, as they say, balled out. That's the ladder challenge. Let's jump to cons and cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Cons and cons, Panthers edition. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Panthers? And before we jump into this, Canes fans, get ready. We're about 10 minutes away, 10 minutes and change away from our first goal scorer competition. So start ironing out your final choices, right? Take it from the last three to the final one. Who's going to score the first goal for the Canes, and in what period will that goal come? And then get ready to dial into the Heister Automotive Group hotline when we open it up in about 10 minutes. But that competition is coming up. Right now, cons and cons. Carolina Panthers. As always, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want first? You always take the bad news first.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my concern. It is the same exact concern from last week.
Okay.
Will the team check out? I was worried about the team checking out last week prior to the game, and then they lost 40-7. And then I will say, with signs of checking out. Some players, if you watch back the film, they might be getting a loaf, right? They might be having their film played in front of the entire team on the team room on Tuesday in a team meeting saying, this is not the effort we need, fellas. And now they're going back to a starting quarterback / backup quarterback that struggled early and facing a brutal defense on the road in high elevation at Denver, which is, I mean, you see it, right? Guys will, if you get an interception and run it back like 30 yards, you go to the sideline. What do you do in Denver? You go right to that oxygen mask.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's exhausting. So now you're going to be more tired than you usually are. Gosh forbid they get down 7 in the first quarter and Bryce Young doesn't look like an all-star. I think you got to worry about the checking out. And this is the challenge of the coaches. You have to keep everybody bought in. You have to keep them all, for if you're looking for a metaphor, rowing in the same direction, right? Nobody let go of the rope. Whatever your metaphor is, you need to keep everybody bought in because you're 1-6. You just got embarrassed last week. You're on the road, tough situation, quarterback that's been struggling. That's not a good place to be mentally. And I'm a little worried about it, just like I was last week, and I think it proved true. What are you concerned about, Dennis?
Oh, where do we start, Tim, when it comes to the Carolina Panthers and concerns? I'm going straight to Bryce Young. Going straight to Bryce. Massive concern for him because when I saw him after the Chargers game, I was in the locker room, and I was also there at the podium, seeing his body language after that Chargers game, that second game of the year.
And by the way, like within 24 hours of when you saw him, he was benched.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game. For those of you that don't have the Panthers schedule memorized, he played the first 2 games. Mm-hmm. The Monday after the Chargers game is when Dave Canales said we're going with Andy.
Yes. So I was at the game. I was there in the locker room, there at the podium, sat there, and I asked him, like, hey, what'd you see on your interception and everything when he was trying to hit Deontay Johnson and all that? And this body language, everything said, I have zero confidence in myself. His body language, his eyes, his shoulders, his mannerisms, everything about it said, I have no confidence in myself. And then yesterday, listening and watching him in the locker room, talk to reporters once again, that same body language is right there. I was like, this guy has zero confidence in himself. How do you expect anyone to have confidence in you if you do not have confidence in yourself? Simple as that. That is my biggest concern. If you don't have any confidence in yourself as the guy who's had all this success in his entire career leading up to the NFL, and you don't have any sort of confidence when you step back on the field with this opportunity that you have, sorry, man, massive concern, massive red flag.
And I think that's what everybody's kind of hoping for, is that this reset let him figure it out. And by figure it out might even not be the right way to say it. Let him remember that he's good at this, right? I'll give you this. He's been running the scout team. Aside from playing well in a game, the most fun thing you can do as a quarterback is scout team. Because you want to talk about cutting it loose. A lot of times the coaches tell you where to throw it. That's the most fun thing in the world. Like, hey, hit this guy on a post. Because guess what? If he's really covered, guess what you get to do? Let me show off this gun, put this in this tiny little window here. It's fun.
Let it rip.
and if it's intercepted, it's like, well, coach told me to throw it there. That's what's supposed to happen. It's a defensive drill. I'm a jugs machine. I'm a pitching machine over here. It's kind of fun. I didn't get to do it a ton in college, but I always had a good time. You get to talk trash with the defense, get to be a little wild and crazy. Like your turnovers don't count. How awesome is that? So maybe that ignited something in him. But trust me, I don't think there's a person on the planet that's not a little worried about his confidence. And by the way, that all ties together. Like if the quarterback, like my concern and your concern tie together is what I'm saying. The quarterback, for better or worse, is a leader of the team. It's part of the position. Everybody's looking to you. So if I'm looking to you and you don't look confident in yourself and you're not carrying yourself confident in your abilities, why am I about to run this route 110% and over the middle lay out and risk my body from the safety taking out my ribs for a guy who's out there like Eeyore? Like it all plays together. If team, all right, fine, I'll run my route, but I'm not doing anything extra. Like that happens when you see it that way. Confidence. Let's get to the more fun part. It's only more fun because it's a rule that we have to come up with something confident.
Oh, we do? Oh.
This one has been hard.
Yeah, it is.
This week was the hardest week to find a confidence. But I did, and I think it's a good one. I'm confident in the rookies.
Okay.
Jatavian Sanders, 11 catches in the last 2 games. That's great for a fourth-round rookie tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Legette, he's flashed touchdowns against Atlanta and Cincinnati. I still think there's more there, but he's shown that like there's reason to believe there's more there. Trevin Wallace, third-round pick linebacker, 31 tackles since entering the starting lineup three games ago. A rookie, over 10 tackles a game. Sign me up every single time. Shaw Smith-Wade not only earned more playing time, especially as shown by them releasing Troy Hill at that nickel spot, but 8 tackles and some swag in his first game with a big role. You could throw Jalen Coker in there. How many undrafted rookie free agents are even being asked to run routes, let alone make catches?
Let alone be your third wide receiver.
There's a lot to like about the rookie class. So maybe this says something else about the veterans, but like I kind of want to treat it like high school where the coach looks at the sophomore class and go, hey, listen, if these seniors aren't good leaders, we'll call them captains, we'll make them line leaders, but make this your team. Like I'm kind of looking at it going like, hey, if Clowney and if these other guys, if they're not going to produce, Trevin Wallace, it's your defense. There's nothing that says you can't run this show. Jatavian Sanders, if it's your spot, go get it. We don't have to play Tommy Tremble. We don't have to play Ian Thomas if you're out there handling your business. So go take it. If you're the best for the job, you're the best for the job. What's your confidence?
Oh, very few, Tim. I'm confident Ejiro Evero.
Why did that sound like Al Borland?
Because
like,
might as well have been.
Tim.
I mean, well,
Tim, little two-man Taylor action.
Might as well have been. I'm not. I'll say I'm very confident Ejiro Evero is not going to blitz anybody. But that's kind of.
So your confidence in their
inability to coach. That is actually, in all honesty, my true confidence is actually in Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, and actually Brady Christensen at center. The interior of the offensive line. Even after Austin Corbett got hurt, Christensen has filled in quite well. The interior of the offensive line has been absolutely solid. The run game overall has been good this season when Dave Canales decides to stick with it. But overall, that interior of the offensive line has been a strength pretty much this entire season for the Carolina Panthers.
Yes, I'm not going to argue with that.
And honestly,
that's kind of free bingo square. I feel like that's been half of our confidence.
Well, I mean, there's not much else to go off here, Tim. That's the problem.
Hey, I found the rookies.
You did, and you certainly did. But here's the one thing I will say about
it was easy. Not saying I didn't have to bring up quite a few articles and watch quite a few YouTube videos, but I found the rookies.
The one thing I will say though with Brady Christensen is that I know Austin Corbett he has void years on his contract after this year, so he's set to be a free agent after the season. If Brady Christensen continues to play well, he's probably not going to be super expensive to retain. So I would not be surprised if Brady Christensen is brought back next year. Again, he's not going to be super expensive to keep just because this is only true time starting. But if he continues to play well over the next 10 games like he has over the last few, it wouldn't surprise me if they decide to keep him as their starting center. And guess what? It'll be super cost effective too.
They've already spent a ton on the interior part of the offensive line. So getting a cost-effective center might be a requirement because you have very high-priced guards on either side of him. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is cons and cons, concerns and confidence and concerns. If you have a confidence or a concern for the Panthers, feel free to you can send it to us on social media at 99.9 The Fan, pretty much everywhere. You can also comment in our YouTube channel. We live stream every single show. You can watch along there on YouTube, but that comment section is also where we get a bunch of our feedback, so feel free to join that conversation if you'd like to. That's also a place where you could throw in your Canes first goal score. Canes first goal score is a competition. I love competitions. The winner, if one of our three official contestants gets it right, will get a gift card to the Ultimate Sim Racing Experience at Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. They are the presenter of our first goal scorer competition. We do this for every weekday Canes game, of which there is today. So let's open up the East Automotive Group hotline. We need three official contestants. 919-860-5326. Call in with the player you think will score the first goal for the Canes tonight and in what period you think they will score that goal. Call in right now, 919-860-5326 with those two pieces of information. Anything else you want to volunteer is for fun, right? You can say, so-and-so in the first period, on a power play, from the left side, on an assist from so-and-so. You can give us more information, but the only two you need to get right in order to be a winner are who scores the first goal and in what period will they score it. Be as off the beaten path or as right down the middle as you choose. It is truly up to you. In the meantime, I'll give you mine. I think it's a Svech game. I think it's Svech in the first. So Andrei Svechnikov, first period goal scorer. I think that's the first goal for the Canes. And for the additional details that we like so much, I think it's on a physical run to the net. At least two dudes bouncing off him on his way. I think it's time we see like an old school, juggernaut running right down the middle of the ice, skating right down the middle of the ice, watching people bounce off him, and Svech finds the goal. Svech in the first. I also don't know if anyone's picked Svech yet this season. I don't recall.
Maybe for game one.
It's been a while, and I feel like he needs some love. So Svech in the first.
Okay.
Let's go to the lines. We have Stephen Clayton on the line. on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Steve, who are you picking to score the first goal and in what period?
Well, I got on last week, and I picked Natchez in the first, and he actually scored second.
Oh, well,
so I'm going
to
run it back with Natchez
nice.
in the first.
Natchez in the first. Do you want to give any more details? Anything else about it?
No assist, just himself.
All right, an old school Natchez.
Okay.
Picks it up off the rebound and goes the length. I like it. Stay on the line. Obviously, you know how this works. Dennis needs to get some info. Patrick and Garner, you are up next. Patrick, who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
All right, I'm going to go with Jarvis in the first off of deflection.
I like it. I like that a lot. Jarvis has been, I don't want to say quiet, but he hasn't been loud yet. So
yeah, I agree. That's why I think he's good.
I would like to see Jarvis score as well. So stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. And everybody that thought you didn't get through, you just got second life. We had a caller on the line for the third, and as I was talking to Patrick, Dennis told me in my headphones that he is done. So we opened it back up, and it's already filled. So that was short-lived second life for all of you. Zach and Selma is our third contestant today. Zach and Selma, who scores the first goal, and in what period do you think they score it?
I think it's going to be Brent Burns on the power play in the first.
Brent Burns on the power play in the first.
Yep.
Burns was actually pretty darn good, I think, last game. So hopefully you're right on that one. There you go. Zach, stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. Dennis, before you start taking down all that info, who do you think scores the first goal, and in what period do you think they score it?
You know, I'm actually with Patrick and Garner on this one. I'm actually going to go Seth Jarvis in the first. He's actually playing on a line with Jordan Stahl and Jordan Martinook today. That's how things are going to start off for the Carolina Hurricanes. So, yeah, I'm actually going to give Seth Jarvis in the first. That's what I'm going to go with as well, just because that line creates so many scoring chances. And we saw Jarvis play a ton with those two last year and put up 33 goals. So, yeah, Jarvis in the first.
All right, Jarvis in the first. You and Patrick holding hands, skipping into the winner's circle.
By the way, there's actually some people that have made some predictions already online. Someone said Gossespear in the second would be the first goal scorer, picking the corner, top right corner specifically. Also, Caleb said Jordan Martinook late first period, final 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it too.
I like that.
I'm okay with it.
There's a bunch going on in this game. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. I wonder about this with Jarvis, right? Because obviously you just heard, I'm a big Jarvis fan. I was all in favor of paying him all the money, and they did, and it's right, and he's a core piece. I wonder if his, affability as a hockey player doesn't come back to bite him a little bit. And what I mean by affability is his universal Everybody likes playing with Jarvis. His skill set can mesh with anybody's. He could be up on the first line running and gunning with Aho and Svetch. He could be on the third line with Stahl and Martinook. He could be with Roslovic. He could play with the young guys because he is young with Jackson Blake. He could play with the old guys. I wonder if he wouldn't benefit from just a hint of stability, right? Where at least one of the guys he's going to be skating with for the entirety of the season. I don't know if that'll ever happen because when you shake up lines, which you do from time to time in hockey, it's so easy to move him around and use him as that chess piece because everybody likes playing with him. But gosh, I think I just want to see him and Aho together for 30 games and just see what happens. See if they don't start getting the freaky twin thing where, one makes a cut that the other doesn't see, but they feel and they make a pass. It's just something about it. But he's darn good, and he was a good pick for first goal scorer by both the caller and Dennis. Again, you can send those in. You can send them in on social media at 99.9 The Fan. You can send them in on social media to me at Donnelly Sports. Or you could just go to our YouTube comments and send them in there. You won't be one of the official contestants. Those are only the ones that call in, but bragging rights are so valuable around here. You want to say hockey, call in and get a couple of, comment in and get a couple of those right, and we'll start giving you your props and due as a hockey knower. With that being said, before we move on, here's our very own Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. What if you could be debt-free by this January? I'm talking about all that high-interest debt. Pay off all your credit cards, your car loans, consolidate everything into one lower payment. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to give Loan Pronto a call right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this with Loan Pronto save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their express equity lines of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. Free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back earlier today, I caught up with my podcast co-host, Mike Glennon, my co-host on Pack Therapy, which new episode out everywhere for state football fans. Mike talked to us about the Bryce Young situation, the quarterback shuffle the Panthers are going through, and much, much more. That conversation next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
This is it, Ram Power Days. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington has the deal you've been waiting for on your brand new Ram 1500. Ready for this? 25% off. John Heister in Lillington has 25% off all new 2024 Ram 1500s right now. That's like getting a fourth of your new truck for free. That couldn't be more worth getting off your keister for. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington for 25% off your new Ram 1500.
Hey John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with a fluffy egg for only $2.50. Be a McDonald's breakfast person. Get the most important deal of the day right after you wake up. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us in studio, longtime NFL quarterback, former NC State quarterback Mike Glennon. We do this about once a week during the football season. We'll talk state, and hey, there's a win there. But first, Bryce Young back in the saddle, starting for the Panthers due to a sprained thumb by Andy Dalton in a car accident midweek. What is it like to be Bryce Young getting a shot, getting a start due to an injury after being the backup for a time? He's in such a weird pretzel of emotions.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got nothing to lose. You've already been benched, but you also kind of have your future on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is going to be the final, the last straw to prove to them that he can be the guy going forward. Honestly, I was a little surprised that it took a car accident and a thumb injury to Andy Dalton to make Bryce the starter. I thought that Canales would kind of come out and move back to Bryce just the way the season's going, and I don't think it's Andy Dalton's fault, but the offense is not looking good. That was a bad loss.
Atrocious to watch.
That why not find out what we have in Bryce Young? I mean, he sat on the bench long enough. How much more is he really going to learn from sitting on the bench and watching Andy play? He's got to get out there and play, and they got to make a final decision. Maybe the final decision's already been made on him.
It feels like that, but final decisions, they can always be changed. I struggle with, like, how hard is it not to kind of let your imagination wander to, hey, if I throw for 303 touchdowns here, I'm back, baby, and maybe press to do that when all you need to do is show signs of life, right? I'm big on, like, hey, cut it loose. What are they going to do? Bench you? They kind of already did that. But at the same time, I also get that he could put an unbelievable amount of pressure on himself for one game against a pretty good defense.
Yeah, I think that's what I definitely can relate to that, because when you're primarily a backup quarterback, you get put in the game, you feel like you're playing for your
it's like
next
an
year's
audition,
job.
yeah.
It's hard to stay in the moment and just enjoy playing, because it's like, this may be the only time I play this year, so I need to play well for next year. And I'm sure Bryce is feeling some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, it can't get any worse than it already did. Same time, I want to be a starting quarterback in this league, and if I don't play well, that might be gone.
It could get a lot better. It can't get any worse.
Well,
it could
right.
get a lot better, and that's the pressure, is like, this is my chance to make it a lot better.
Right. So it's it's weird saying it's a huge opportunity for him, but if hopefully for his sake and the team's sake, he plays well and shows some signs that he should be the starter for the rest of the year, and then he has kind of more time to prove his worth, for the second half of the season.
We're talking with Mike Glennon here on The Drive. I don't think Dave Canales did the best job, and I've said this on air. I don't think he did the best job helping Bryce in those first two games. The way I kind of have settled into explaining it is, the first completion for Andy Dalton when he got his first start was a 4-yard speed out, and it was caught on the sideline, and the guy stepped out of bounds, and it was just a completion against an off corner that's super easy. The first pass call for Bryce Young was under center, play action, so he's turning his back on the defense, has to snap his head around, know what he's seeing. It's a crossing route to a wide receiver in Deontay Johnson that he has one preseason series with, not even one preseason game, 12, 15-yard dig, whatever it was. He airmails it a little bit. It gets intercepted. I'm going, Bryce can't airmail it. It's his fault. But at the same time, you could have helped him out a little bit there. How can a coach, play caller, offensive mind, help Bryce, who battled with obvious confidence issues through two games, in this weekend's game against Denver?
I think it's communication. I've had coaches in the past where the play caller comes in, and this might be something that's said in training camp, but it's like, things aren't going well. Give me one play that you love, and you're going to find a completion. And it's like, like the back of your hand, when that play is called, you feel confident. And I think that's the dialogue that needs to be going on with Bryce and Canales, is like, what plays do you like that no matter what the situation is, no matter what the defense is, you're going to feel good about it when you step up to the line of scrimmage. So I think I would hope that those were happening before that first, if it's first play of the game, first play of the season, you would hope that they were communicating and it was a play that Bryce likes and is comfortable with. But if that hasn't happened, then it needs to.
I'm going to add something to that as well. Also the reverse. What plays do you absolutely hate? This is embarrassing, but I've admitted it on air before. Smash routes, hitch and corner, don't make sense to my brain. Something about the depth perception. I threw probably 10 picks in college. I wouldn't be surprised if 4 or 5 of them were on smash routes. The corner, I was a rat and they were cheese. They would just bait me into whichever one they wanted me to throw and pick it off. Made no sense to me.
Right.
I understand it like in theory, but for some reason in execution I couldn't do it. And it would get to the point where like coach would call it and my brain would go like, oh man, like it's you. And if you're already in a spiral and that play comes in, like if I'm Dyson, if I'm 10 of 11 and he calls it, I'm like, all right, today's my day. But if I'm having a rough day or I haven't had a completion in a while, then they call that play, it can really kick you down into the dumps.
Yeah, and every offensive coordinator gives you the game plan and says, red line any plays you don't like. Some of them mean it, and others take offense to it when you redline it. And Bryce, being a young player, sometimes you're intimidated to redline a play that you think the coach likes because they're like, why don't you like it?
Yeah.
And other coaches are great about it. They're like, you don't like it? I'm not calling it. That I may love it. If you don't like it, that's all that matters. So Canales does seem like a guy that wouldn't be
very coach or player friendly,
right,
happy-go-lucky.
Not to have too much pride to not follow what Bryce says. But yes, it works both ways. It should be coach to player, but it also needs to be player to coach.
What's like the max? Did you ever cross out like? Because now I'm fascinated. Right, my college coach never gave me that ability. Like, did you ever cross out like 10 plays?
There'd be times where I don't know, 5 to 10 maybe, but it took more
Does it
time.
Get to the point where like you cross one and now you're looking at the coach like,
well, I tell you what, with John Gruden, you weren't crossing off any because he did not
say babies. You're crossing out a child.
He thought of a play for a reason, and he was not as susceptible to it. Now there were other coaches that were great, and you tell them you don't want it, it's out of the game plan.
That's funny. You respect it, but also you don't like. I would get why a young quarterback wouldn't want to be like, hey, these 5 plays that have worked earlier in your career and you love against this defense, they don't work for me. But I would have crossed out smash every darn time, and they would have looked at me like that is a very elementary read, and I would have said, yes, it is. Not running it. We can beat a cover 2 in a bunch of different ways. Let's jump to state. We'll talk about Panthers and quarterback. Should they be stacking draft picks for 3 years from now when C.J. Bailey is eligible in the draft?
I'm not ready to say that, but I do think NC State has a potential superstar on their hands. I mean, this kid is playing really good football. He does not look like a true freshman. He's got the physical skill set, but he also looks like he has the mental makeup with the energy he plays with the calmness that he shows that they get down by 13 points, leads them back to a 14-point fourth quarter victory. The ball placement, the arm talent, the athleticism. It's been fun to watch and see him grow already in these last couple games.
Mike Glennon, co-host of the Pack Therapy podcast with myself, talking all state football. So if you want a really in-depth look into the win against Cal, go find it on our YouTube. New episode should be out shortly. You said something on the podcast, we've already recorded it, that was really interesting to me about bye weeks, because State has a bye week coming up. What does that worry you about a team who's hasn't had the season that they want this year, but does have some players that are very, very good?
I'm less worried after winning against Cal. If they go into that bye week 3-5, everyone's going home to their family, friends, everyone's in their ear, everyone has an opinion of what's going wrong, and chances are why you are more or less getting screwed, and let's start thinking about going somewhere else next year.
And so-and-so said you can make X amount of dollars at this school, and your high school coach said when so-and-so coach from this other school came through, they were asking about you, and that's a bye week.
Yeah, I was already thinking about it last week. I didn't bring it up, but I thought if they lose a Cal, this thing could really unravel because everyone's going to be thinking about next year and not staying with what's going on. And I think it's still going to happen. I just don't think it'll be quite to the extent. A lot of these guys are feeling good about themselves right now. Justin Jolie, big game. CJ's had a big game. But there are going to be other players that their family is probably in their ear telling them we need to look elsewhere. So I think that win was big for many reasons, not only just to get in the win column.
In Indiana, who is like the everyone's belle of the ball this year. They're surprising everybody. Had a wide receiver, I believe a wide receiver that started at Clemson, E.J. Williams. He's in the portal, or he's no longer with the team, and he said when the window opens, he's going to go in the portal. That's a team that's 7-0, and I can't imagine there's many more fun places than the Indiana locker room after you go 7-0 with a 56-7 win over Nebraska. And that guy said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to hit the portal. Players are hearing stuff, and he's not doing it because he doesn't think there's a better option out there. So bye weeks, make sure your players know you love them, because if they think you're mad at them, they might not come back. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thanks, Mike. Once again, that's Mike Glennon. You can catch him, and you can catch me as well on the podcast, Pack Therapy, found everywhere podcasts can be found, as well as our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. While you're there checking it out, subscribe. Click the little alerts bell and join our community on YouTube. It's a fun place. Right now, Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Did you know that most of your home's cold AC this summer leaked out through your old windows, which means you could have been quite literally trying to cool down the outside? If your windows aren't the quality of a Window Nation window, if the sealant is not perfect, if the materials are not well kept, if they're not put together and installed correctly, you could have all summer just been paying to try to cool down the outside. And guess what? You're going to be doing the reverse this winter. You're going to be paying trying to heat up the cold winter months outside. Or you could give a call and get a free, no obligation consultation and estimate from Window Nation. And right now they're giving out 2 windows free for every 2 windows you buy, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Window Nation's professional installation teams will leave you wildly comfortable with them installing your windows, and they can do it in 1 day or less. And if anything does go wrong, guess what? Lifetime warranty. Yeah, it's pretty good peace of mind, right? Gives you some comfort. 96% of windows installed require no follow-up service ever. So you can take that to the bank as well. The truth is, the top quality vinyl windows from Window Nation will meet or beat the performance of wood or composite windows or any other kind of windows you can think of. So go ahead and give them a call and check them out. Make sure you're not paying to heat up the outside this winter. The number to call is 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or you can visit windownation.com to schedule as well. Either will work. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com to schedule now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the starting 5, including the Hornets 1. How about that? Hornets 1-0. And more. Starting 5 next.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Dalton this time in a pistol set. Here's the snap. Hand off Chuba Hubbard. Straight up the middle. Big hole. He's got the 20, 15, 10, 5. Goodbye. Touchdown. Chuba Hubbard.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Little Big Town. Take Me Home Tour. Friday, October 25th at PNC Arena. Little Big Town with Sugarland. Plus the Castellos. Tickets on sale now with LiveNation.com. Don't miss Little Big Town with Sugarland Take Me Home Tour, produced by Live Nation.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's winds blowing across a fruited plain, and also your new fire pit, which subsequently sets your gazebo ablaze. It's hard-hitting football, and an even harder-hitting price estimate from your general contractor. That's a star-spangled bummer. It It's also round-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. With the passage of a cold front last night, it was a little less humid this afternoon. It will be cooler tonight. Clear sky, the low at 44. Tomorrow's mostly sunny. Still pleasant, the high 76. Warmer on Saturday, the high up to 83.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 140 points today to 42,374. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. One more hour, pushing through. I actually think my voice is getting stronger today.
You know, someone on the YouTube live chat actually said, wow, you actually are sounding better. I had a lot of zingers lined up.
Well, trust me, the zingers are warranted because the last 3 days have been tough. But I do feel like I'm getting stronger as today's shows goes along. You know. So last time I said my voice was feeling better, I immediately had a coughing fit and we had to pause the whole show. So
that's true.
Let's.
You're bragging. Hey, I could run a mile right now.
I still think I could run a mile.
Feeling good.
I just might cough while doing it. I don't feel bad is the point I'm making. I don't feel like I'm sick. I just sound like
you're sick.
Like awful. Let's jump into the starting 5. No more dilly-dallying. Starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Snap McCauley, pats at Concepcion, sprints left side of the field, breaks a tackle 5, dives, pylon, touchdown, KC Concepcion!
That was a touchdown from Grayson McCall to KC Concepcion. Grayson McCall brought in out of the transfer portal from Coastal Carolina to be the starting quarterback for NC State this year. Announced yesterday on social media that he is retiring from the game of football. That stinks. The cause of it is the concussions that he's now had multiple times, and they're of the more serious variety. He's consulted with, I assume, many experts in the medical world, his family, coaching staffs and everything, and he's decided it's best for him to hang up the cleats. It's brutal. Now, I know that everybody, unless you're a Hall of Famer, like the football says they're done with you at a certain point in time. Bunch of people, you know, when your high school career is up, college doesn't come knocking. When college career is up, pros don't come knocking. Or even if you're a pro, right? You work out all off season, you're waiting for the call, you're waiting for your agent, and it doesn't happen. It's not always your choice to retire. But I do think you usually have some inkling that it might, like, you still have a senior day, right? If you're a fringe NFL player, Like, all right, I'm in the game. It's the last game of the year. They might not call me back next year. Like, it's an end of a chapter, right? You may not get to finish your book, but you end at the end of a chapter. When an injury takes it away, like Grayson McCall went from running in the red zone, trying to pick up a first down, like I'm the starting quarterback at NC State, to career over.
Done.
And that's got to be a little bit more difficult to handle. You don't even get that checkpoint that you reached. It's just kind of done in a blink. And then the other thing, I don't know if everybody like scrolled through the pictures and read the Instagram retirement that he had. This is a football guy. You know, I talked about this with Mike on the podcast on Pack Therapy. Find it everywhere. Podcast can be found. There are and Dennis, I'm sure you had this as a coach and as a player. Mm-hmm. There are certain teammates that you're like, he loves football, but it's like one of 8 loves, right? If football was taken away, he's going to be doing something else by tomorrow, and he's going to be just as happy.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the kids, and I think I was one of them, where it's like, oh, no, you're in this. Like, you are a football guy. You are all in on it, and if you can't play, you're going to find somewhere else. You're going to coach. You're going to be in the media covering it. You're going to be watching the games. You're going to be a degenerate fantasy player. Like, you're that's what you do. Grayson McCall is the latter. Grayson McCall is a football guy. He talks about as a kid, everybody else wanted to be going and watching TV, or he wanted to grab a football and go in the backyard. And he had the pictures to back it up, and his friends and all this stuff. So it stinks, right? I'm sure he came to NC State with the idea that he was going to be this one-and-done phenomena. He was going to go be a draft pick. He was going to get to play in the NFL. He was going to live out all these dreams. And now those dreams have changed. So bummer, support. I know it's not the end of the world. He's making a decision that's better for the life after football, but it does stink. I also think this. I think next season he will be a graduate assistant somewhere, and I think he's a guy that's going to end up being a coach.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I think for the rest of this year, he's still a captain. He's still going to walk out for coin tosses. Mm-hmm. He's still part of the team. I think he is going to be the best thing for C.J. Bailey, their freshman quarterback. Somebody that's been in his shoes recently and can be that sounding board and work with him. I see him as an offensive coordinator. 9 years from now, we're talking about as some kind of guru that's running a flashy offense. Maybe for a team that he's played for. Who knows? That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Seeing ghosts.
That's a funny drop right there. So I know you guys don't know what we're talking about for number 4 yet, but I do.
Seeing ghosts. Yep.
Thursday night football tonight. Vikings-Rams. Sam Darnold is the quarterback for the Vikings, and that was the clip of him famously mic'd up on the sideline as the New York Jets quarterback, saying he was seeing ghosts, meaning
seeing ghosts,
which has entered the NFL lexicon. When you're feeling rushers that aren't there, when you think the defense blitzed and they didn't because you're not exactly seeing it the right way, you're seeing ghosts. That's become part of the lexicon. Sam Darnold has come a long way from seeing ghosts. Playing very well this year. The last 2 games, not as well. First 4 games, he was lights out, MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. Last 2, less, but still, Vikings are sitting at 5-1. They're playing good football.
Played pretty good in that game, even though it was a loss against Detroit. Played pretty good in that last game for them. That was a great game, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Came right down to the wire. On the other side, you have the Rams. The Rams might be in sell mode.
Mm-hmm.
You might be selling Cooper Kupp. Might be selling Matt Stafford if someone's interested.
Yeah, seen that rumor floating around.
Might be selling, which is interesting because this is a team that they don't value picks very much, but that's probably what they're going to be asking for.
Oh yeah.
Sean McVay might be in for a little bit of a rebuild with hey, I got Puka. Who else is coming with me? Kyron Williams. Let's roll. That's what they got. Looking at this game. Speaking of seeing ghosts, now I'm just going to use that because I like the phrase so much. Mm-hmm. Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, he specializes in making quarterbacks see ghosts. He will blitz all night. He brings unique pressures. He makes it difficult, and the Vikings defense has been one of the best in the NFL this year. Matt Stafford, you would think, is one of Jared Goff. You mentioned that Detroit game. Did well against them. Jared Goff is not a spring chicken. He's been around. He's seen looks. He's not as easily confused as so many of the younger guys around the league. Matt Stafford looks at Jared Goff and calls him whippersnapper.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay, I'm in my wheelchair over here. Or my rocking chair is what I meant to say over here. Matt Stafford versus Brian Flores, I think, and Matt Stafford and Sean McVay versus Brian Flores in that defense in a chess match, I think is going to be really fun to watch. And it's one that's really fun to watch if you don't have a horse in the race, right? Like, around here, are there Vikings fans? Are there Rams fans? Yes. Are there a boatload of them? Probably not. So you're watching tonight with the idea of just being entertained. That chess match will be a fun one to watch. How does McVay attack Flores? How does Flores attack that offense? How does he try to confuse Matt Stafford? And then on top of that, this is kind of a showcase for Cooper Kupp. There's so many rumors that they're going to be trading or looking to trade Cooper Kupp, and they want a second-rounder back. How do you get a second-rounder? Right? If everyone offered a conditional third and you want a second, you go show that he's healthy, A, because his first game back. Puka's back too also, by the way, activated off IR with the intention of playing tonight. Get him like 10 catches. 10 catches, $120, touchdown or two. Then go back to everybody that offered the conditional third and say, it's a second. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Kupp doesn't have quite an array of targets today, regardless of what Minnesota's doing.
By the way, you can listen to that game over on Buzz Sports Radio since we have Canes hockey on the Fan tonight.
Well said. And for the betting public out there, I got nothing. This game, I am so wildly at a loss for how this is going to go. Like, Vikings are favored by 3. That's either a good line or a horrendous line. I don't know. Like, I've got nothing for you. Sorry, I can't help better. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Gets it back from Miles. From Galveston. Got it back and throws it through. The basketball gods love LaMelo. The Charlotte Hornets.
The basketball gods love LaMelo. What a call.
I love Eric Collins.
The Hornets beat the Rockets 110-105 yesterday.
Let's go. 1-0, baby.
So you are on pace for 82-0, you Charlotte Hornets.
Let's go.
Brandon Miller had 6 points. Did you see the two that mattered the most? The dude is putting people on posters.
Yeah.
He is jammering at every step. Only played 11 minutes, but like I said, earned it. LaMelo Ball, there's a reason why he's making, $260 million?
Yeah.
34 points, 11 rebounds. 11 assists, 8 rebounds.
Yep.
That's a good day at the office. 50% shooting from the field. That's a good day at the office. 10 for 10 from the free throw line. That's how you win.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you win.
Speaking of wins, first ever win for first-time head coach Charles Lee.
Probably got a couple waters dumped on him in the
he had a lot of them.
Locker room.
Yeah, no, we get all this love for J.J. Redick. Let's give some love to Charles Lee.
Do you know what Charles Lee did not do that J.J. Redick did?
Coach.
And it I don't know. I think that was the inverse of what the joke you were trying to make. But it might be an injury thing. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the rookie that everybody was there to watch, J.J. Redick put him in the game. And that was Bronny James.
Yeah.
What is it? Tijan Salon, the rookie that everyone's super excited. He was the 6th overall pick in this most recent draft for the Hornets. Did not play. Coach's decision.
Did not play.
I think a lot of people want to see what that guy has.
Sure.
A lot of people are excited about him, calling him a foundational piece, could be a franchise changer. They didn't play him. Charles Lee, take the wrap off the car and go drive it around a little bit.
Hey, I'm on pace for 82-0. You're going to question me?
Well, I mean, yes, to be point blank. I'm not saying it from like a basketball. Like, trust me, they didn't play Bronny because they thought he was going to help them win the game.
That's very true.
They played Bronny because they knew that's what the fans were there to see.
It's okay. They're on the road in Houston. Houston fans don't care.
Okay, so maybe they're saving the debut for home?
Yeah, maybe. Why not?
Actually, let's get into the actual basketball for just 2 seconds.
Sure.
Here. I really, the feather in the cap for Charles Lee in his first game, his first win, is that they were down 5 at the end of the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Then lost the second quarter, I think, by 6, so they're down 11 at half. Win the third, win the fourth, win the game. That's good adjustments. I do sometimes think, like, oh, what adjustments did you make at halftime? I think that's extremely overrated. It's like, I don't know, we called a few different plays.
I don't know, we made shots.
Drank water, ate a thing of Chex Mix, ran back out onto the field or the court. But it does show that the coach was working, either trusting his players or changing something, that it was so dramatic kind of first half to second half. They played so much better, and you got the win. And there was no panic, and there was none of that, which, again, it's one game. Not gonna give him Coach of the Year because of the one game. But I do think that's a good start. It's one he can be proud of. Got some unusual performances. Trey Mann with 24 off the bench. Kind of impressive on that one. And there's things they could do better. It's always things you can do better. But Seth Curry made threes, and Melo Ball did everything. And sometimes that's all you need. Just play a good game of basketball. If they win 2 in a row, how crazy do we go? Who do they play next? Let me look it up real quick.
They have to play tomorrow night, if I remember correctly.
Let me just double check. They are playing at Atlanta on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Before 4 home games. I'm just saying, if they come back home 2-0.
Let's go.
Better watch out for the Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets.
That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
If you're not a Pitt fan, if you're not a Syracuse fan, but you're a quarterback fan, you should get your tickets now because that guy's going to play in the National Football League.
That's Pat Narduzzi talking about Kyle McCord, Syracuse quarterback.
Look at that. By the way, sneaky. This is the way Dennis described it to me earlier, and I kind of liked it. Sneaky big ACC game tonight.
Yeah.
Thursday night football. Syracuse 5-1, Pitt 6-0, nationally ranked. Syracuse 2-1 in conference, Pitt 2-0 in conference. Obviously, there's something going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Something going on there. Pitt's favored by 5.5. Like you heard Pat Narduzzi talking about it. Syracuse brings a certain juice, especially on offense. The reason why I say that is because Kyle McCord flat out slings the rock, and they're coming off a bye, which is always nice in a Thursday game when you're coming off a bye. You get that extra time. It's not a short week for you. But Kyle McCord, the last game he played was against NC State, which was a obvious win for Cuse. I'm just going to read the passing yardage totals for Kyle McCord in order of games played. 354 yards, 381 yards, 339 yards, 385 yards, 355 yards, 346 yards. NC State held him to 346 yards, and they could actually walk out of there going like, well, we held him well below his average. We held him the second lowest total on the season. Like that's a passing offense that is really, really cooking. And then Pitt, I mean, what else do you have to say other than they're 6-0? Like nobody on their schedule has beaten them yet. And I'm not all the way in, but I'm still mighty curious about their quarterback. Eli Holstein, out of the transfer portal from Alabama, but not the most heralded guy in the world. He's good, but then some weeks he leaves a little to be desired. I'm not 100% certain, but tonight's a good game to find out because I think they're going to have to keep up with Q scoring maybe a high number.
Kyle McCord, I think he's played the way he's played this season, and just the way he throws the ball. Like he has I would say like an NFL ball. The way he throws, like feels like he's kind of a guy that's worked himself into being like a mid-round pick in the NFL.
For sure.
That team might, hey, we might be able to make this guy a project for a few years. Possibly, we might have something. It's just what the feeling I get when I watch Kyle McCord play this year. I was at the game when they visited NC State, and I was like, dude, this guy throws an NFL ball. Like it kind of reminded me of Devin Leary. And the way he throws the ball. I was like, oh, okay, because Devin Leary can throw an NFL ball.
Devin Leary had a big arm.
Yeah.
And he is in the league somewhere. He was.
I know he was drafted by Baltimore.
Yeah. Just so you know, like Kyle McCord coming out of high school was a legit prospect. He was a top 50 recruit in the country. Depending on which source you kind of looked at, he was top 7, 8, 9 quarterback in the country. Went to Ohio State and kind of got caught up in the big machine that is there and lost his job. But Syracuse pounced on it. He's a Philadelphia kid. He's good. He's fun to watch as well. So again, if you're looking for something to watch and you don't have none of your teams are playing today, you could do worse than hey, let's see what Syracuse's offense is doing and how Pitt is going to counter that as the team coming in is almost a touchdown favorite. So a big ACC game. Whoever wins, you can put in I don't know if it's the driver's seat, but you're sitting in one of the front two seats for an ACC championship appearance. Obviously, Miami would be driving. You're riding shotgun.
A sneaky big game tonight.
That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one! Now a good pass there by Kokiniemi. It'll come across Robinson. The score! Deflected out in front. Marty Natchez.
I love a Natchez goal. Canes tonight versus Calgary. Dennis, what are some keys? What did the Canes need to do to continue the win streak that they started on Tuesday?
I think keys is the early chemistry in the game for the lines that got shuffled up. So, for example, we heard Eric Robinson on that play-by-play soundbite. Eric Robinson, the one making the pass to Martin Natchez. Eric Robinson in the middle of the third period got put on a line with Natchez and Kokiniemi. Well, guess who's there to start a line tonight? Eric Robinson with Kokiniemi and Natchez. And also they put Jack Roslovic back on the top line alongside Svech and Aho. And Jarvis down with Martinook and Stahl. I don't want to say down, air quotes down. But I think Rob Brindamore is maybe looking to spread his scoring threats kind of throughout the lineup a little bit more. I think that's what we're seeing because we know Jarvis can score in that offense, and that line creates a lot of offense. We know Martin Natchez what he's capable of doing, and Svech and Aho are Svech and Aho. So now you have some size and physicality and speed and skill on your top 3 lines. I think that's something that Rob Brindamore wants to see is that offense kind of spreading throughout the lineup a little bit. So to me, it's how quick does that chemistry and how does it come together and how well does it stick?
I asked this question earlier. You were on the phone. I'm not all in on the take. This is an audition for the take. Is Jarvis maybe being hurt is the wrong word, but is maybe his, I call it hockey affability, like how everybody likes him, everybody likes playing with him. Mm-hmm. Is it hurting maybe his ability to reach his top potential? We're all big Jarvis fans. It's shades of great, right? It's like how good can he be? It's not like, oh, in this situation he's bad. But he can play with old guys. He can play with young guys. He can play with grinders. He can play with high flyers. He can play with this guy. He can play with that guy. Everybody likes playing with Jarvis. So it seems like every time they shuffle up the lines, even if it's not because they want to try Jarvis in another situation, he ends up getting moved around because he's like the what's the good blood when you're giving blood, like O positive or whatever?
O negative.
O negative that works with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's O negative. So it's like, all right, if we want to get Jackson Blake on the second line, we can shuffle around. We can move Jarvis here. All right, we want to get Roslovic on the first line. We can move Jarvis around because he just fits with everyone. But because of that, I don't know if he gets the stability because it's, quite frankly, just different playing with Aho and Svech than playing with Stahl and Martinook.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just different. He can do it. But I don't know if it's best to let that it's kind of happening every year where he's playing like this little part-time deal with a bunch of different lines.
I think,
again, I'm auditioning it. I want to watch. I want to pay attention. I want to see if the production, because it wouldn't be out of line if you take him from Aho Svech or you take him from the second line, wherever he is, put him on Stahl Martinook if it takes like 2 games for him to really catch his rhythm. And then when you take him off that and put him on a different line, if it takes him 2 games to get back in that rhythm. And I'm wondering if those 2-game adjustment periods could be avoided.
I think for Seth Jarvis that he doesn't need great around him for order for him to be his best. That's the thing.
He's O negative. Exactly. Yeah, he fits in everywhere.
He doesn't need it. And I think also his style of play actually probably fits in best with Stahl and Martinook.
Okay.
I honestly legit think that. And then I think we also saw the scoring chances instantly pop back up again on Tuesday when he got put back with those guys because he played a majority of the season last year with those two. So really it was like a 2-second adjustment. Oh, hey, guys, we're back out here. Let's get back to work. I think his style of play actually fits best with a guy like Stahl and Martinook.
I'm not partial to any. So if you think he plays better there, I want to see him get like 20, 30 games kind of mostly with that line. He's still going to get the opportunity on power play and everything else to mix it up with the other guys. But I just think stability goes a long way in just most athletic endeavors. And he seems to be one, because he can, that gets pushed and pulled in a lot of different directions.
He doesn't miss a beat no matter where he is. Like, that's the thing with him. He doesn't miss a beat no matter where he is. And that line generates so many scoring chances. So if anything, playing with Stahl and Martinook's actually going to maximize the most for him, probably. And
he gets to go full little brother energy on that line.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. But
he's definitely like flicking ears on the bench and stuff. Like he's little brother energy.
But he's also still getting top power play minutes.
Yes.
That's a big thing as well. It's like he's getting top power play minutes, and he's going to continue to generate points from there. To me, the guy doesn't miss a beat no matter where he is. And because he's that good and that versatile, and he does everything right.
Real quickly here, and when we have a few more things to get to, including we need to grab our contestants for the numbers game. Mike Kay, who covers the Panthers for the Charlotte Observer, did just put out the injury report for Thursday's practice for the Panthers.
Oh, yeah, it's long.
Andy Dalton didn't play, expected. Cornerback Dane Jackson did not play due to a hammy.
Yeah, didn't practice today.
Yeah, did not practice, did not play, same deal. Deontay Johnson did not practice with the rib. Kicker Eddie Pinheiro, due to personal reasons, didn't practice.
Yeah, something going on.
DB Robinson, knee didn't play.
That's Jamie Robinson.
DB Scott, which is the safety, hamstring didn't play. And DJ Wanham with the quad, still on the physically unable to perform list, did not play.
I didn't realize that DJ Wanham was also dealing with blood clots.
He had multiple surgeries. He revealed all that, I think, earlier today in the media.
Yeah, he did. I didn't realize that he was dealing with blood clots and stuff. I'm like, okay, this makes sense why it's been so long.
Why it was so much longer than expected.
Yeah, I'm like, we saw Freddie Anderson have to deal with that for the Carolina Hurricanes last year. It's just kind of something you can't mess with.
100%. Limited, Jonathan Brooks, so he's not fully back yet. Cherilus, the linebacker, limited. There's Moten, limited. That's probably more hopefully getting him fully back. Yosh Nijman, they're hurt. Let's just put it that way.
It's a long list.
They're hurt. Let's get some numbers game contestants. We have a pair of tickets to the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway on November 11th that will go to one of you. But you need to win. You need to win. We don't just give out prizes. We give out prizes to winners. If you want to play, call in now, 919-860-5326. I say that. We actually do just give out prizes kind of a lot. But not this prize. You got to earn this one. If you want to play the numbers game, 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 8:30.
Here come the Hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Necas. 3-0 Carolina.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
What if you could be debt-free by this January? Get rid of all that high-interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their Express Equity line of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com, free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our two contestants on the line getting ready to battle it out for a couple of tickets to the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway. We have Dylan in Raleigh and we have Andrew in Durham. They are on the line getting ready to play. As always, we have to ask a question to see who gets to go first. Dennis, you just made a real surprised face. Do you have a good question?
Well, I do have a good question.
What is that?
State Fair's going on. What's your favorite ride?
Favorite ride.
Favorite
I like
ride
it.
at a fair.
And Dennis is the judge, so you're trying to impress him.
Oh, okay.
Dylan in Raleigh, what is your favorite ride when it comes to the State Fair?
Assuming that they're all bolted into the safety expectations, the Fireball.
The Fireball. Are you aware of what that is, Dennis?
I think I do know what that one is.
No, Ring of Fire. Excuse me, Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire,
yes.
Yep, all right. All right, Dylan, your answer is noted. We will go to Andrew in Durham. Andrew, are you there?
Yes.
All right. What is your favorite ride at the fair?
Just the big Ferris wheel. Good family time riding together.
All right, big Ferris wheel. Dennis, two very different answers there. Which one are you going with?
Oh, this is actually a really tough one. The Ring of Fire is really fun just because you going upside down. I really enjoy those kinds of rides. But again, there's the whole thing. Is it bolted together properly? Which actually might add a little thrill to the ride, to be honest with you.
Hanging on by a like one connection?
Yeah, exactly. I also do love a Ferris wheel. Like, it's so simple. It's like, yeah, it's
just go high and look out and go, wow, that's the parking lot.
It
you gotta
really
find
is.
your car.
Cool view of a city or town, wherever it is that you are. Both very great answers, but there's that little uneasiness of the Ring of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to go with the Ring of Fire.
All right, Dylan and Raleigh, you get to go first. Don't worry, though, Andrew, you'll have your chance. Just go ahead and wait on the line. You'll go second. Dylan, are you ready to pick your category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL, we got traded midseason. All players that were in a midseason trade. The other category is NFL, we also got traded midseason. Same category, just 5 different names. Baseball players born in North Carolina is one of the categories, as is NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do Canes only.
Canes only. All right. The way this works, I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. And we will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, let's do it.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Freddie Anderson, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
Correct. Tony D'Angelo, Carolina Hurricanes.
77.
Correct. Yaroslav Spacek, Carolina Hurricanes.
35.
Incorrect. Max Domi, Carolina Hurricanes.
82.
Incorrect. Yaroslav Spacek, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Stephen Halko, Carolina Hurricanes.
72.
Incorrect. Max Domi, Carolina Hurricanes.
85.
Incorrect. Yaroslav Spacek. You got two. The two more recent. You got Freddie with 31. You got Tony D with 77. Spacek is number 8. That one you struggled with. Max Domi is number 13, or was. And Halko, we would have accepted 14 or 28. But you got 2. Solid number. We'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and wait on the line for us. That brings us to Andrew in Durham. Andrew, are you there?
Yes.
All right, he picked the Canes only category, which leaves you with NFL, we got traded midseason. NFL, we also got traded midseason. And baseball players born in North Carolina.
I'll go with NFL. We got traded midseason.
All right. The first one, right? There's 2 categories similar. You want the first one?
Yeah, the first one.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right, you need 3 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Randy Moss, Minnesota Vikings.
84.
Correct. Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys.
13.
Incorrect. Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers.
4.
Incorrect. Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys.
81.
Incorrect. Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers.
8.
Incorrect. Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys.
17.
Incorrect. Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers.
11.
Incorrect. Amari Cooper, Dallas. You got close on the last one with Jimmy G. So you got Randy Moss, 84. Amari Cooper with the Cowboys wore number 19. That one is a little bit tough. He's been all over the place. Jimmy Garoppolo with the Niners wore number 10. You finished on 11, so you were honing in on it. But you didn't get it quite. So, unfortunately, not enough for the win, but hopefully you had a good time.
I did. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. That brings us to Dylan and Raleigh. Dylan, you are the winner.
All right. Thanks, man.
Based on your fair selection, I believe you'd probably be a pretty big Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway fan. Seems like those two would go hand in hand. So congratulations. You get a pair of tickets. Go ahead and wait on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. But that's what's going on. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
There you go. That's a good question. The State Fair, I went and looked it up. It's like 80-something rides.
There's a lot. It's a fun time.
I've always been a zipper fan.
Go on.
It's the you go around in circles. Why you go around in circles and you kind of flip around and it's a whole thing. We used to have a traveling carnival that came to one of my high schools and the zipper was the big attraction. You want to talk about? I mean, the State Fair feels permanent. I know it's not. It's not always there, but it feels it. Traveling carnival, which was in Hawaii, by the way, so I don't know where they were traveling to other than to our high school. But the zipper, I mean, it was good for getting stuck 3 or 4 times a weekend. People up there for who knows how long while they fixed it. But did that stop us from riding it? No, it did not. Absolutely not. It didn't stop us from riding it. What are you going to do there? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will have our final pair of Martinsville Speedway Xfinity 500 tickets to give away with the numbers game tomorrow at about this time. So if you did miss it, you wanted to win, you tried to call in, you didn't get through, one more chance tomorrow right about 5:30. So be tuned in and have your dialing fingers ready. Matter of fact, you can go ahead and save the number right now, 919-860-5326. Put it on your speed dial. In the meantime, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Here's the deal, everybody. Do you not want to freak out every time rates go up 0.5% or down 0.5%? Do you not want to have to call somebody and go, why didn't you tell me they were going to drop? Miller Lending saves you all of that stress with something called the no-cost loan. It's no closing costs. Zero means zero. No third-party fees. No rolled-in cash. No fees that are hidden. It is no closing costs. Gordon Miller's been doing them since 1987. And the reason why it takes all that stress off your plate is because you sign your mortgage today, rates drop tomorrow. Instead of calling somebody and going, why didn't you tell me? I should have waited. You call up Miller Lending and say, I'd like to refinance, and I'd like to do it with no cost out of my pocket since rates dropped. And they go, perfect, let's get it started. Or the opposite can be true, right? Somebody tells you, rates are going to drop in a week. It's an election year. They always drop. right? Because people always have those little morsels, right? Whether they know what they're talking about or not. So you don't sign your mortgage. You don't lock it in. Instead, you go, well, wait till next week. Of course, rates go up 0.75, or they go up a full point. And now you're calling your friend going, what the heck, you told me? Or you could just do it with Miller Lending, where you lock it in now with the expectations that if your friend is right and it goes down next week, you'll refinance with no closing costs, no money out of your pocket. And then if they go up, you're like, oh, thank goodness I locked it in last week. It saves you the stress and helps you make some money and lowers your monthly payment. 919-447-3377 is the number to call for Miller Lending. I'll give it to you once again, a little bit slower. 919-447-3377. Or you can just remember the name and go to the website, millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Not only giving my rest, I'm going to get out of town, have a family wedding, but I still got to make some picks. So we're going to lock in some look-ahead picks coming up next. Stick around.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford, one of the only showrooms where you can find 4 brands under one roof. Located at 3335 NC 87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
North Carolina football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws an awesome block so his teammate can score instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. I'm Victoria Vodnecker with BetMGM, and there is BetMGM's second chance promotion, where you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Everyone knows the most exciting part of football is the score. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try the first touchdown score bet today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof-works.com. WERKS.com.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned with Zero Res starting at just $119. And get a free dryer vent cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we start making some picks, which is always fun, just an update on what's going on tonight. There is a Canes game tonight. We've been talking about it throughout the show.
Let's go.
It is another late one. It is this road trip, so it is a 9 o'clock puck drop, which means it'll be an 8:30 Storm Watch with Adam Gold. So, eat your dinner leisurely. You have the time. Cook the special meal. And then 8:30, settle in for some hockey with Adam Gold.
Well, Canes After Dark, baby.
Although pretty soon,
I love Canes After Dark.
Pretty soon, like a 4 o'clock puck drop would be after dark. I'm just saying.
No. This is the true definition of Canes After Dark.
Over midnight.
Yeah, no.
This is it just keeps getting later. This road trip. So this is the second of 2 games with a 9 o'clock start time. The last 2 are both 10 o'clock start times. So we're really getting late on the next 2.
I will say, though, it is kind of nice that these are taking place now as opposed to, like December, let's say, when it's dark at 4:30 and you have to wait till a 10:30 puck drop. Those are brutal, especially of those of us who have to work during games.
Yep. So either way, you can always hear them right here on 99.9 The Fan, whether they happen in the middle of the night or the middle of the day. We do our best to get every game here for you, and we're pretty good at it. So that's coming up tonight. Again, Storm Watch with Adam will be at 8:30. Right now, I'm actually not here tomorrow on the show. Dennis will be filling in. I believe Graham will be helping.
That's right.
So you'll get the Dennis and Graham combo tomorrow. But that means I got to make my picks a little early, right? Because I need the receipts. So if I'm right, I can brag, and if I'm wrong, I can laugh at myself. What are we looking ahead to, Dennis?
Let's actually go Thursday Night Football tonight. Minnesota on the road at the LA Rams. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite in this one.
This is cruel because all day I've been saying I can't predict this game at all.
I know.
Multiple segments I've said, like, if you want gambling advice, I got nothing for you. Like, how much does Cooper Kupp play? How much does Puka Nacua play? I don't know. Do you get good Sam Darnold or bad Sam Darnold? I don't know. What does Brian Flores have up his sleeve for Sean McVay? I don't know. I've said this for the last 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we go to picks like, let's have some fun before Tim gets the day off. And you go, hey, that thing you can't predict it. That's the energy we're on, Dennis?
Yep. That's where we are.
So what's the question again? Who wins, or is it against the spread?
I'll give you the option to pick. I gave you the spread. I'll let you make your decision based off.
I'm taking Minnesota. I think they cover.
The Rams' defense sucks.
I would be more comfortable picking money line, but I could also see like Matt Stafford having a little throwback to the Super Bowl year when with a healthy Cooper Kupp and healthy Puka Nacua, they each get 12 catches for 140 and a touch, and then it's a wrap. So my official answer is Minnesota, but my more official answer is I have no gosh darn clue what's going to go on in this game.
The Rams, like I said, they stink on defense. They are.
Turns out missing Aaron Donald really hurts.
They're in the bottom half of the league in red zone touchdown percentage defensively. They're in the bottom third of the league in terms of sacks generated per game, in terms of sack percentage, I should say, in that regard. So, yes, their defense overall is not that good. Yards per game that they allow passing-wise is also one of the worst in the NFL. They're not that good. They're bottom half of the league in so many defensive categories.
And Minnesota's near the top of most defensive categories, but
and also their offense is good.
And do you know what I didn't even mention during all of that? I can't predict anything. It's Thursday night football. That's like a fun. That's like watching football in the funhouse mirror. It's weird.
All right. Actually, also, the LA Rams, 27th in the NFL in yards per attempt allowed defensively. They can't stop the pass. Sam Darnold bounce back game, baby. Let's actually go to another game tonight. Syracuse on the road at Pitt. Syracuse 5.5-point underdogs on the road.
I've watched more Syracuse than Pitt, so I might be tainted here.
Okay.
I really like Syracuse's offense.
Yeah.
So give me Syracuse. I think it's probably Syracuse dropped one game. What was it, Stanford? It was a weird game.
I think it was a Friday night game,
I think
too.
if they're both undefeated coming into this game, Syracuse is favored. But it's just you're getting the respect to Pitt for not having lost a game yet. So give me Syracuse. Haven't watched a ton of Pitt aside from the games they play against the Triangle. Maybe it's because they played like on Thursdays and Fridays. I feel like I've watched a lot of Syracuse. And I like their offense. So give me Syracuse to win the game.
By the way, Kyle McCord, the quarterback for Syracuse, averaging 360 yards passing a game. That's not a joke, folks. Averaging 360 a game and just over 3 touchdowns per game.
Do you know what's maybe more impressive than even that? The lowest total of passing yards he's had in a game is 339.
That's stupid.
It's not like he had one 700-yard game and his average is boosted. Like has not had a single game where he threw for less than 339 yards.
That's wild. That's wild. I'm going to throw a little bit of a different one at you. Tomorrow night, Mountain West game, 5-1 Boise State on the road at 6-1 UNLV. Boise State on the road is a 3.5-point favorite.
All right, so I'm confident I know 2 players playing in this game.
Yep.
There's the old quarterback from Campbell, who's now the UNLV quarterback, Hodge something. And there's Ashton Genty, who is probably the best running back in the entire country in the college ranks. He plays for Boise State. I like both of them. I think I like Genty more. So go ahead and give me Boise State to win the game. And Genty with this is not an exaggeration, 225 yards rushing and 2 or 3 touchdowns because he kind of does that.
Yeah, in 6 games this season, he has 1,248 yards.
Right
That's over 200 yards a game.
Right around what I was saying. So
yes.
Give him 225, 2 touchdowns of 40+, maybe a third touchdown, and Boise wins.
He has 1,248 yards and 17 touchdowns in 6 games.
Yep. And it's not like he's getting 40 carries a game either. He's doing it with big plays and efficiency. He's going to be a first-round pick.
Another college football game on Saturday. A little interesting one here for you. Notre Dame at Navy. Notre Dame a 14-point favorite going on the road down to Annapolis.
As somebody that has played in Annapolis, I played in that stadium.
Navy Marine Corps Stadium.
First of all, really cool. Just throwing that out there. Playing in that game, one of the highlights of my football career. It's weird. It's a strange vibe because you respect your opponents so darn much because they're obviously going to protect our country. You want to shake their hands and then go play. It's weird there. It's weird because of the style they play. And guess what? Navy's much better now than they were when I was playing them because they're a top 25 team and kind of running through everybody. So what's the spread?
14 in favor of Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame probably wins because the one thing Navy is always going to have at their disadvantage, they can't be that big.
No.
They got to they have to be ready to go into a submarine or pass basic training and do the physical requirements to be a midshipman. So you don't really have the 330 ground eaters.
You have a bunch of 260 guys that have to shed weight for their fitness tests at the end of the semester.
Which on offense they make do by cut blocking and all of the different schemes that they run with the misdirection. Defense is where it really hurts them. And Notre Dame is going to have the road graders up front on the offensive line. So when you see them go up against those bigger, kind of more high pedigree teams, eventually their offenses just wear them down. So I think Notre Dame wins. I think Navy covers.
Okay.
And we have seen Navy beat Notre Dame at least once in my life. I remember it. It was a big deal.
LSU on the road at Texas A&M. Number 8 LSU against number 14 Texas A&M and former Duke head coach Mike Elko. No spread on this one.
I think it's LSU.
Yeah.
I actually said this on the Pack Therapy podcast earlier today. You can find that everywhere. Garrett Nussmeier, the LSU quarterback, in all of my epic film watching of college quarterbacks across the country, He's one that I think is underrated. I think he's going to rise up draft boards. I think if he had the LSU wide receivers of last year, he'd be a Heisman contender. He's solid, so I think he's the difference in that one, and they beat Texas A&M.
He's averaging 317 yards a game passing, by the way.
That's good.
He has 2,222 yards in 7
We know
games.
Elko will have a good defense, so I don't see him putting up 350, but I see him being the difference in a game that LSU wins.
All right, let's get ourselves into a little bit of ACC action this weekend, including game I'll be going to on Saturday night. Number 22 SMU on the road at Duke Wallace Wade Stadium. That is an 8 o'clock game.
Give me the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
They're being disrespected. The only 6-1 Power 5 team to not be in the top 25 in the last 7 years.
SMU 11.5-point favorites in this one.
I'm taking the Blue Devils outright, baby. Forget all that big oil money from SMU. That Duke defense has something for them. SMU's offense hasn't been lighting it up, by the way. They're kind of a confusing offense. So give me Duke. I'm gonna ask the Blue Devils to keep the run alive.
UNC on the road at Virginia. UVA 3.5-point favorites. It's a noon kickoff up there in Charlottesville. Beautiful place to watch football, by the way.
It's a weird place to watch football.
It really
After
is.
touchdowns, they stand up and sway.
They do. Which many a game there.
Yeah, I've been.
Don't miss it.
At least a couple. I like UNC. Arrested Omarion Hampton coming off a bye week. Give him the ball 35 times. See what happens. You win the game.
Yeah, I like North Carolina in this one. Next one up. World Series Game 1 tomorrow. Yankees at Dodgers.
It's in New York, right?
I think it's actually
in LA.
I think it's in LA.
All right, Dodgers win then. Dodgers win. Shohei does something crazy. He's got that it factor. He makes it work. Dodgers win.
Yep, 8 o'clock first pitch tomorrow night. And then tonight, Canes on the road in Calgary. Puck drop just after 9 p.m.
So it's a 3-2 victory for the Canes.
3-2, okay.
It's a 3-2 victory for the Canes. They're up 3-1, give up a cheapie late, but it's 3-2, they win.
I was going to say 4-3 Canes tonight.
I don't think it's that high scoring.
Oh, Calgary can score.
I know, but their defense can lock it up, and I've already asked Pyotr Kochetkov for a massive game, so I'm hoping he figures out a way to be a highlight reel.
Okay.
3-2 win.
Who was your first goal scorer again?
I went with Svech.
Svech in the first?
Svech in the first, and it's at least 2 dudes bounce off him as he careens down the middle of the ice. I want it to be like a Terminator goal.
Okay.
Just a big dude being big and strong and powerful.
I got Jarvie in the first.
All right. Thank you to everybody that participated in that. Like I said earlier, I'm out of the office tomorrow. I'll be actually in Chicago for a wedding. So shout out to my cousin Scott. Shout out to Dennis and Graham, who will be filling in to set you up for the weekend. I'll be back on Monday. You should be here tomorrow at 3 to hang out with those guys. Until then, have a great time. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, 99.9 The Fan. Other than that, have a great weekend. Enjoy the show tomorrow. See ya. Hopefully my voice is back. See ya.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers play